This is Allied Services Friday Night Rivals on MyTV WQMY.
From Hawley, MyTV WQMY presents Allied Services Friday Night Rivals. Tonight, the Wilkes-Barre area Wolfpack take on the Wallenpaupack Buckhorns. Good evening, everybody. I am Paul Grippy, along with Coach Stan Koharski, here beside the Lake Wallenpaupack in Wayne County. A cross-conference game tonight between two teams who don't see each other too often, but we expect a good contest nonetheless. Wilkes-Barre 4-3. Wallenpaupack 3-4. And we look at the Wolfpack first. I want to talk about one of their Toyota Spotlight players, Noah Taylor. They call him the Dancing Bear. He averages over 7 yards a carry, and he's a big part of that Wolfpack offense.
He is. He's a very good runner, great feet, vision is great, has got some agility, and he plays defense as well, and that's always a good thing. But he's going to spearhead that offensive thrust along with the two quarterbacks.
And as for Wallenpaupack, they do well on the ground too. They have a sophomore leading the way. Shadrach Ajay has over 500 yards this season already, and the Buckhorns need to get him going.
Yeah, they do. He's carried them offensively. He's their leading rusher by far. Their second leading rusher is Alex Gardsey, who's a sophomore as well. And again, he's thrown the ball a little bit, and he's run the ball quite a bit. According to Coach Watson, he's got to get a little tougher running the football, and he hopes that he will tonight.
And Paupack wants to establish the run. They average about 12 points a game. They need a little more offense at this point.
There's been an inconsistency there, Paul. They really need to generate more offense than they have in the past. Last week against North Pocono, they only had 180 total yards. You can't win many football games with that number. So they're going to have to get a better balance, and I think that's got to come from the passing end of the game. They're going to play a team that's got a lot of athleticism, quickness, and things like that. So if they improve offensively, this should be a really good football game.
Well, I know it'll be a really good football game to watch. Ideal conditions for the second weekend in October. Let's get a check on our weather with Chief Meteorologist Ali DeBakey.
Hey there, guys. Yeah, great evening to get out there and enjoy some football. Temperature is going to be a little bit cooler, but still a full touchdown, which I could be there with you guys on the field. Looking at our conditions tonight, kickoff, looking at partly cloudy sky, temperatures in the mid to upper 50s, but by the time we get to the end of the game, could see those clouds starting to increase across our area and across the stadium goal lines. Temperature is going to be sitting in the low 50s, so good thing to bring the extra layer, maybe that jacket or a blanket. We'll have more in your forecast coming up, but now we'll send it back to you, Paul.
So good high school football tonight, a team from the Wyoming Valley Conference against a team from the Lackawanna Conference. I have Wallenpaupack legend Stan Koharski. I'm Paul Grippy, and stay tuned. We'll have the opening kickoff when we come back. You're watching Allied Services Friday Night Rivals on MyTV WQMY.
You're watching Allied Services Friday Night Rivals on MyTV WQMY.
Buckhorns in the white and the Wolfpack in the black, and joining us, the third member of our team, walking the sidelines tonight, Dylan Fearon. How you doing, Dylan?
Yeah, Paul, Stem, we talked pregame how important the quarterback position is in the game of football. Wilkes-Barre area has two dynamic players they can go to under center, Cam Taylor and Talib Swinney. These guys can bowl. Whether you want to air it out deep downfield or ask them to run, they got it all. Two dynamic players for Coach Ciro Cinti, who's known to run the football a lot. And you look at the numbers, they're almost identical. Cinti calls them 1 and 1A interchangeable. He's got different sets for both guys, two really talented football players to help the Wolfpack to a 4-3 record heading into tonight. And get this, Swinney's a senior, but Taylor just a junior, the future looking bright for the Wolfpack guys. Paul, back to you.
Well, the Buckhorns will start off on offense, so it'll be a few minutes before we see that Wolfpack quarterback situation, but we're about set for kickoff as Wilkes-Barre area comes out with the black uniforms and the blue numbers, and this is my first experience with the Wolfpack. Here we are in week 8. I just haven't gotten around to seeing them, but it is an exciting thing for that school district.
It sure is. Wilkes-Barre area is number 89, Chad Reagan.
They're athletic. Their skilled kids are very, very athletic.
So Wilkes-Barre was the merger of the three schools, Myers, Coughlin, and GAR. They're still using 3 separate buildings, but they are now considered one school district. They've always been, and they've merged all of their athletic teams as well. So those 3 buildings play on one football team. In a couple of years, all the students will be in the same building. So it's the Keystone College kickoff here on the side of the lake in Hawley.
Ask Steve through this if you can go.
Yeah, ask him.
Ask him what?
Yeah,
If we can
talk to
go,
Steve
if we can start the
before.
game. Ask him if we can start the game.
Steve, can we start the game? Steve, can we start the game? Yes, yes, yeah.
Chad Regan does the kicking. Hunter Vargo breaks it up the right side, across the 50, knocked out of bounds about the 26-yard line, and a good kick return sets the Buckhorns up in good field position.
That's a great way to start a game. Take the ball deep into the opponent's territory. It's a great return.
Starts up the middle on the right seam and then cuts it to the right sideline. Showed some speed, found a hole. While the Buckhorns will have 25 yards to go for their first score of the night.
Great field position for their first possession.
Wallenpaupack chooses to wear white as the home team here tonight. Coming in with a 3-4 record, looking to even it up at 4-4. Alex Gardsey gets the snap and drops back. Buckhorns come out to pass, but not ready. JT Turgeon returning from an injury, just wasn't expecting the pass to come his way. Our Allied Services quarterback today for the Wallenpaupack Buckhorns, it is Alex Gardsey, 35 for 110 on the season. So his completion percentage is about 34%, over 500 yards passing, 6 interceptions he'd like to cut back on and get this offense moving along.
That was a great choice on his part that time, Paul. He was able to find Turgeon wide open out the flat.
So now it'll be 2nd and 10. 2 receivers on the left. Handoff to Shadrach Ajayi. We talked about him before the game. He goes straight up the middle and picks up 4.
Wallenpaupack has a very, very good kicker who's only a freshman, and they're certainly in range for him if they don't get this first down. It's Roman Levant.
3rd down and 6 for the Buckhorns at the 21.
Wallenpaupack already in 4-down territory, but here they'll have 3rd and 6 from the 21. Two receivers on the left, I formation, one on the right end. Gardsey under center this time. Gardsey drops back, sets up in the pocket, looks over the middle, into the end zone, deflected and incomplete.
D'Alessio is probably his favorite receiver. And this is a ball, Paul, that I think he should have caught. He high points the ball here, just got to have stronger fingers to pull that in.
Malachi Williams playing defense for the Wolfpack now. We're going to see that leg. Wallenpaupack sends out the kicking team. Roman Levant lines it up. And this will be a 37-yard field goal. Kicking with the left foot off the right hash. The kick is up. It's definitely long enough. And it is down the middle for a field goal. Wallenpaupack takes advantage of Hunter Vargo's game-opening kick return to the 25 and converted into a field goal.
That's a good start in terms of putting points on the board, especially getting the ball deep into the Wolfpack territory.
Look at this. I mean, this was a no doubt about it. Just right down the middle. And he had plenty of distance on it. And that left foot, that works pretty well for him. So a 38-yard field goal officially. And that took all of 1 minute and 8 seconds.
Paul, I talked to Coach Watson before the game, and he was well aware of Raphael McCoy's ability to run back kicks. And he said, we're not going to kick to him, so we'll see where this kick goes.
Number 17, Roman Lamont, to kick off for the Buckhorns.
Williams and McCoy back to kick off. McCoy wears number 14. And it's a squib kick. It's an onside kick, and Wallenpaupack has a chance. The ball is loose, and they fall on top of it. It will be the Buckhorns' ball on the surprise onside kick. TJ Schmalzy gobbles it up, and the Buckhorns keep the ball on their own 45.
Talking to Coach Watson, he told me they were going to do this. He said, we have nothing to lose. So he's certainly got great field position again.
So we won't get to see that Wolfpack offense just yet. The Buckhorns will keep it.
It's one way to keep them off the field.
Well, they started in good field position the first time, but failed to convert a Luzerne Community College first down. So this time they'd like to get some more yardage. Toss right, that goes to Ajay, and Ajay picks up a nice 8.5, 9 yards on the first carry of this drive.
Simple toss into the short side of the field. Gets good blocking out front. Picks up almost 9 yards.
That's an 8-yard gain. Second down and 2 yards to go. Buckhorns at the Wolfpack 47.
So second down and 2 now for the Buckhorns as it's crossed midfield and on the Wilkes-Barre area 47-yard line. Guardsy looks at the defense, hands it off to the fullback that time. Falls forward for a Luzerne Community College first down and a pickup of 5.
It's a good way
and
to
your
keep
quad
the
4A Driving Academy starters for the game for Wallenpaupack. The skill players Guardsy at quarterback, Ajay and Smith. The receivers are D'Alessio, Vargo, and Cruz. And then up front, you have King, Blau, the other King, Smith, and Williams. First and 10 now for the Buckhorns on the Wilkes-Barre 42. Guardsy out of the shotgun, going to keep it himself, cuts it to the left and up the middle, and he's got room. He breaks it loose. Alex Guardsy, a 42-yard touchdown on the play. No flags, and the Buckhorns take a 9-0 lead.
Here's a zone ride, keeps the ball, makes a great cut here. Back against the grain, and simply outruns the Wolfpack's pursuers.
Alex Guardsy, 5'8", 180-pound junior, showed athleticism, getting it done with his feet that time instead of his legs, instead of his arm, I mean. Roman Levant's the extra point. And we had a whistle before that, so they're going to try this one again. And they're having a conversation as to what they want to do, and maybe it will change Wallenpaupack's decision as to going for 2. So it's offsides against Wilkes-Barre. So Wallenpaupack will decline that and take another chance at kicking it again. And the extra point is good with 9:24 to go in the first quarter. Wallenpaupack leads Wilkes-Barre area 10-0. You're watching Allied Services Friday Night Rivals on MyTV WQMY. Okay, Coach Koharski, why don't you coach along? Do we get another onside kick here?
I doubt it, but we'll see.
Okay, they go deep this time. Levant sends it. And Wilkes-Barre area is going to return it. That's Williams. He tries to cut it over to the left side, gets it out to the 20 before the white shirts pile on.
He's tackled by number 7, Justin
And the Allied Services quarterback for Wilkes-Barre area, Cam Taylor. Look at his completions, 33 of 61. That's terrific, but he's also known to be very good at running the ball. We'll see him use his legs.
Yes, when they announced the starters, he wasn't announced as the starter. Swinney was announced. So it's hard to tell their numbers, the blue on the, but it looks like it is Cam Taylor.
And sometimes we will see Taylor Swinney at the quarterback position, but right now it's Cam Taylor. There are two Taylors, and there's the other one. Up the right side, and that's Corey Brown. Corey Brown has a long gain here for Wilkes-Barre area.
Paul, this was one of the keys to the game that Coach Watson said that they had to limit big plays. And here's the first snap from the line of scrimmage, and Brown just takes the ball all the way down into deep territory of the Buckhorns to the 25-yard line.
So 64 yards for Brown, and it's a Luzerne Community College first down for the Wolfpack on the Wallenpaupack 25. Brown drops back, and he's going to keep it himself, left side and out of bounds. And he picks up a couple of. Okay, that was Swinney that time, as Wilkes-Barre will change frequently. Here's your Quad 4A Driving Academy starting offense for the Wolfpack. It's Cameron Taylor, Corey Brown, and Noah Taylor. So two Taylors on this team. Nice young man holding a camera there for us. Nino Cinti is Coach Ciro Cinti's nephew. Malachi Williams, Raphael McCoy, and Silas Armstrong, the skill players. And the line up front, Tymek Bednar. This time it's going to be number 44, Nick Cleokit. Sorry, not Nick, I got the wrong roster, but number 44, Noah Taylor that time, the dancing bear for Wilkes-Barre area.
This is coming back.
So Taylor with the carry, but a penalty. And we're going to see what they say about this. Looks like they're backing up the offense. So it's an illegal shift against Wilkes-Barre area.
Let's see if we have a replay for this.
Tom Finan is our official. Second week in a row for him. He worked the Old Forge game with us last week.
That's a 15-yard penalty.
So 15 yards against Wilkes-Barre. That'll back up the offense and take that nice run off the board by Taylor. Backs it all the way up to the 40-yard line. Taylor that time. He goes off to the right side, stays in bounds, picks up a couple. 4-yard gain for Taylor.
That play is just like a toss sweep. Get the ball out to the perimeter as quickly as you can. That time the blocking wasn't there for the receiver.
So 3rd and 21 now for the Wolfpack. What kind of play do you call on 3rd and 21?
They're in 4-down territory if they want it.
That's Brown, and Brown goes straight ahead, and he manages to get back 10 of those yards at least. But still, it's going to be a long 4th down. It'll be 4th down in maybe about 11. Now, Wilkes-Barre area goes no huddle. And we'll see what Coach Ciro Cinti can pull out of his playbook here.
You mentioned earlier, Paul, that Coach Cinti likes to run the football. This is a situation where he might have to throw it a little bit.
So Taylor in the backfield. Cam Taylor takes the snap. And he's looking downfield, deep into the end zone. It's a touchdown. Malachi Williams goes 26 yards, and it is.
Cam Taylor looks to his left, really lays the ball out there, and we see that the receiver high points the ball. Beaten number 19 on that play by Brett Levant.
So it's a Figured Law Firm touchdown here for Wilkes-Barre area. And the extra point attempt to get this game within 3. Mike Deutsch-Jones. And the kick is up, and it is good. So here we are, first quarter. We've already seen a lot of scoring as Wilkes-Barre shows their offense to get within 3 points.
Paul, we said coming into this game that Wilkes-Barre had some explosive players on offense, and we've seen it in this first drive that takes them all the way down to the goal line. That's a nice job of looking to his left puts the ball where only the receiver could get it.
So Taylor to Williams, and they've done that well all season long. Feel like we're in store for a high-scoring game here.
Malachi Williams is the second leading receiver on the team. He had 14 receptions coming into this game for 261 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Chad Regan will kick off. It's a Keystone College kickoff here. Okay, Tom. So Hunter Vargo returns it out to the 20, and the Quad 4A Driving Academy Wallenpaupack defense starters. Here's the front line, King, Fitzgerald, and Nick Perella. And then your linebackers are Dowd, Ruggieri, Smith, and Magistro. And the backfield, Levant, Schmalzi, Stella, and Horak. Wallenpaupack will start on their own 20. First and 10, Guardsy is under center. Hand off to Ajay. Ajay over to the left side. A crowd of the Wolfpack is waiting for him there. It's a 3-yard pickup for Ajay.
He's had a fairly good season for the Buckhorns. He's young. He's only a sophomore. Picked up a long 4 yards in that particular play.
Well, Wallenpaupack used the big play, the big kick return to set up their first score, which was a field goal. Then they had...
Well, this will be a test for them.
Right.
They poor field position to start, and hopefully they'll be able to move the chains.
Coach Watson wants a nice sustained drive here to go 80 yards, but that's a tall order for these young Buckhorns. Here's Ajay again, straight up the middle. Penalty flag comes in at the end as he bounces around. Looked like he picked up about 2 yards on that.
That looks like it's a hold against Wallenpaupack.
Yep. So that's the indication, holding against the Buckhorns, and that'll be 10 yards from the spot of the foul.
That was Liam Smith, who had a hold of one of the defenders and just threw him to the ground.
So we'll see where they march this to.
Well, they got to mark it off if they took the penalty.
Yes, and the penalty was accepted. So that'll back them up to the 17-yard line. First penalty for Wallenpaupack. Going backwards on this drive now. They started on their 20. But here they are on their own 17-yard line. Guardsy under center. 2 receivers each side. Guardsy drops back, but the pressure comes. He's going to run. He has room. He gets up the left sideline, and then he decides to step out of bounds when he ran into Malik Robinson over there. Close to a first down.
It's a 14-yard gain, 1st and 10.
That's a big play for Wallenpaupack. Get them out of there deep in their own territory with another set of downs. Guardsy's shown an ability to run in these first few minutes of the game, Paul.
Yeah, Wilkes-Barre's getting pressure on him in the pocket, but then they're leaving some space open as he crosses the line of scrimmage.
Well, they got to make sure that they establish an edge, that no matter who's carrying the ball, they don't get outside of the defenders.
Guardsy has 2 carries for 56 yards and a touchdown. Ajay straight up the middle, and he has a crack to squeak through. And this gets him out to the 39-yard line, a pickup of 9.
He showed a lot of explosiveness on that handoff. He darts right through that good block there. And he finishes that run. He's not a very big kid, 160 pounds, and yet he finished that run, knocked the defender back a couple of yards.
I formation, 2 receivers on the right. Guardsy drops back and rolls right. Looking for Giannetti on that pass, but thrown to the wrong shoulder, and that'll go as an incompletion. But all in all, a good call when you have 2nd down and 1 to try a little something different that time, looking for the tight end.
Well, the receiver was wide open and thrown a little bit behind him. Had to twist his body to get in position to catch it. That's where your feet come into play, Paul. You got to make sure you try to get in a position where it's a little bit easier catch.
At every level, though, it's hard for a quarterback to run and throw at the same time. Even in the NFL, that's a difficult thing to do. And, you know, the Aaron Rodgers is the master at it. But in high school, it's even harder. Guardsy drives straight ahead, and he has a Luzerne Community College 1st down.
Well, being able to throw the ball on the run is an acquired skill. You have to work on that. You have to get your feet. You have to throw off that front foot. That's part of the challenge that quarterbacks have. But it can be a lethal weapon, especially if you get out of that pocket and force the defenders to chase you.
Well, Guardsy has been the offense for the Buckhorns here in the first. 58 yards now. Wallenpaupack has 3 first downs. He has all of them. No receivers on the left, 2 on the right. Here's Ajay, and he has a hole on the right side. And he's got 2 men to beat, but he is caught. Malachi Williams pulls him down, but not until Ajay crosses the 50, runs that all the way to the 37.
The offensive line is doing a good job of really getting the Wolfpack defenders on their heels. And there was a gaping hole there. It's a good drive by Wallenpaupack.
And there's a Luzerne Community College 1st down, and Wallenpaupack, who was backed up all the way to their own 17, now looks up and finds themselves on the Wolfpack 37. Confidence builds when an offense can do that. Guardsy looks to pass. He rolls to his right, over the middle, and it's intercepted. Wallenpaupack turns it over. The pass hauled in by Raphael McCoy, and Wilkes-Barre area takes over on their own 34.
Paul, you said it earlier that Alex Guardsy had to not throw some interceptions. He had 6 thrown, I think you said, up to this particular point. This ball is tipped. Big turnover for the Wolfpack.
So now it's 1st and 10 for Wilkes-Barre area. Taylor, he completes the pass to McCoy. And McCoy just has nowhere to go. That ends up as a 7-yard loss. That was a forward pass too. So
Smith is 6'1", 220 pounds. He put a real big hit. Players are being sent in by hand signals from the bench. All the Wolfpack looking over to the coaching staff.
2nd and 16. Wallenpaupack stacks the line, and they send the pressure. Taylor, or that's Swinney. Swinney rolls out, and he throws an interception. Wallenpaupack's going to go the other way. There's Matt Horak. And Matt Horak finally dragged down by Corey Brown at the Wallenpaupack 21-yard line.
I'm not sure what Swinney was looking at here because there's not a receiver anywhere near where he throws this ball. All you see are white shirts there, so it's a poor choice on the part of Taylor Swinney.
So each team now has an interception. In fact, they've just traded interceptions on their last 2 possessions.
We've had some excitement so far.
Right. And for Wallenpaupack, they really have gained about 15 yards since the last time they held the ball on offense and threw their own
in
interception.
field goal position already.
Wilkes-Barre comes with the pressure. Ajay off the left side. Small gain
There are
for him.
holes
He
there.
picks
The
up 4.
offensive line for Wallenpaupack, they're getting off the line of scrimmage. You can see that they're double teaming at the point of attack.
Malik Robinson was the one who made the stop there. 2nd and 7. As we are now in the Allied Services red zone.
Wallenpaupack's in an end over here. It's an unbalanced line. Give the ball to the fullback, not for very much.
Seamus Smith goes straight ahead there, and he picked up 2 yards on the carry. His 2nd carry of the game.
Wallenpaupack only had 2 linemen to the right of the center, and they were unbalanced to the short side of the field.
Wilkes-Barre really loads the box on defense here. They've been crowding the line a lot.
Well, the problem with that is if there's a quick hitter and he gets the linebacker depth, he's going to be in for long runs.
So now 3rd down and 4. There's Ajay looking for a crack on the right side. He drives his legs forward. It's close to a 1st down, but I'm not sure if he picked it up.
It appears to be slightly short.
Yes. That's 53 yards now for Ajay on 7 carries. Well, they do have a good kicking game, but boy, 4th and 1, I would think he would go for it.
Well, they quarterback sneaked the last time they had it short. You had to watch for the long count here, try to get them off sides.
So the Buckhorns go with a goal line offense. 3 backs in the backfield. Guardsy hands it off. And is that
Second
Dylan
effort,
Law?
I think, gets that 1st down.
So that was Tommy Dowd, and it looks like they're
Well,
going
the
to check on
Wolfpack
the
seems
spot.
to think that they didn't get it. Are they going to bring the stakes in?
It's going to be close. They're having a conversation, and yes, they are going to bring the chains in and see how this measures out.
The Wolfpack seem to think that Wallenpaupack didn't make this.
Well, they're probably arguing about the spot because in this situation.
Well, we can go to the replay, can we not?
Always one coach wants one spot and the other coach wants a different spot.
It looks like it's a 1st down.
By the length of a ball, Wallenpaupack gets a Luzerne Community College 1st down. Okay, that brings us to the end of the 1st quarter here with the score Wallenpaupack 10, Wilkes-Barre area 7. You're watching Allied Services Friday Night Football on MyTV WQMY.
Welcome back to Friday Night Rivals. Wallenpaupack leads Wilkes-Barre area 10-7. It's now time for the Figure Law Scholar Athletes of the Week. It's always good when these guys do well on the field and in the classroom. These 2 fit the billing this week. Let's start with Wilkes-Barre area. Richard Carey. You'll probably notice him on the field at some point this season if you follow the Wolfpack. He's a 3-year varsity starter and 2-year captain. He's also received the most inspirational player of the year for this team in the past, and he also volunteers his time at the VA Center and at local churches, and great kid. Over at Wallenpaupack, this kid's had a busy week. Class of 2020, President Anthony Iapolo. He's playing the pep rally, he's playing homecoming, and these 2 guys get it done in the classroom. And he's also a good soccer player, so getting it done on both sides of the classroom and the ball. Paul, back to you.
Okay, thank you, Dylan. And here we start the 2nd quarter. Wallenpaupack in real good position. 1st and 10. Ball on the Wilkes-Barre 13. Guardsy's going to keep it, and Guardsy is going to have his 2nd touchdown of the game. 13 yards, and it's a score. Alex Guardsy with 4 carries, 71 yards.
Here we'll see a zone read. Keep on the part of the quarterback, big hole.
And he gets the Figured Law Firm touchdown. So it's 16-7 now, Wallenpaupack and Roman Levant to add the extra point. The left leg up, and it is good. So Levant makes it 17-7, and the home team has the lead. Stan, you a little bit surprised by this?
You said that they were going to have to run the ball more effectively than they have in the past, and they've certainly done that with both Ajay and Alex Gargi running the ball at will. I mean, Alex must be near 80, 85 yards.
Alex has 71 yards, that's right, on only 4 carries. So he's done a terrific job. It has been a game of big plays. That time it's points off of turnovers.
We're not going to see an onside kick here, are we, Paul?
You're the coach. I defer to you. So Levant will tee it up. McCoy and Williams to return. McCoy on the left side, and they probably want to avoid kicking to him. Yes, so they kick it over to the right side. And there is Williams, and now he's up the left side of the return side and out of bounds, and it will start on the Wilkes-Barre area 31-yard line.
At Quad A Driving Academy, our students do not have to go to the DMV to take their test. They test with us. Less stress means a higher pass rate. We are the only full-service driving training school able to serve Luzerne, Lackawanna, and nearby counties. Check us out at quadadrive.com.
Wilkes-Barre rolls it off to the right side, but Wallenpaupack showed their defense there.
They did. It was
nowhere to go.
A little bit of a counter play, faking a toss and giving the ball back to the fullback. And the swarm of Wallenpaupack tacklers were there.
So that was Noah Taylor. You know Wallenpaupack's going to watch him closely tonight. He's the leading rusher for the Wolfpack, and they don't want to let him run all over them. So now 2nd down and 10. Taylor drops back, looking really deep, and it's a connection over the middle. He hooks up with McCoy at the 24-yard line. 46 yards. Taylor
airs this one out, and again puts it in a great position away from the defender.
And that's a Luzerne Community College 1st down.
Matt Horak seemed to think that that was not a catch, but it appears definitely that it was.
Taylor hands off to Brown over to the right side. Nothing going on there. Cruz brings him down. 3-yard gain for Wilkes-Barre.
It's a nice job done by Seamus Smith taking on a blocker and stuffing the running back inside where he got some help from one of his teammates.
Second down and 7. Taylor looks to his right, throws the pass. It is complete to McCoy. Up the right side and out of bounds inside the 10. It'll be at the 8-yard line, and that's another Luzerne Community College 1st down. Turgeon knocked him out of bounds.
McCoy came into this game with 17 catches, the leading receiver for the Wolfpack.
Wilkes-Barre now in the Allied Services red zone.
Sweeney now in at quarterback.
And that's how Cinti uses them. He switches Taylor and Sweeney's going to keep it around the right side. Brought down by Horak. Penalty flag comes in late at the end of that, but he's at the 5-yard line. We'll see what the call is here as the officials huddle up to discuss it. I don't see any face mask in there.
Or hold, or maybe it's that late hit there.
The flag did come in on the end. Tom Fine and the referee will tell us what it is. It's a personal foul against Wallenpaupack.
Yeah, a tackler came in late and hit the pile. That's what this call was.
So give it a 4-yard gain and then give it half a distance to the goal. Swinney still at quarterback. Second and goal for the Wolfpack. Brown takes the handoff, tries to turn the left corner, and then powers his way down, but nowhere to go. Picks up maybe a yard. Is Wallenpaupack saying they have the ball? Here's another look. Brown has nowhere to go, stuffed hard and quickly, but drives
Lots of white shirts there, Paul. That's what you want your defenders to do. You want them to rally to the football.
Zyler Blau made the stop. Now it's third and goal from the 2-yard line.
It's third down and goal for the Wolfpack. Number 3.
Cam Taylor's now back in the game.
Empty backfield. No, Malachi Williams in the backfield. Taylor rolls out, looks for Williams, connects
Wide open.
into the end zone, and that is a Figured Law Firm touchdown. Makes it 17-13, so Wilkes-Barre within 4 pending the extra points.
That's a blown coverage there. There's nobody there to pick up 5 out of the backfield.
Michael Deutsch-Jones to attempt. Michael Deutsch-Jones to attempt the extra point.
Right
It's
down
good
the
with no penalties, so that makes the score 17-14. Wallenpaupack leads Wilkes-Barre here in the second quarter. You're watching Allied Services Friday Night Rivals on MyTV WQMY.
Welcome back to Friday Night Rivals. Wallenpaupack leads Wilkes-Barre area 17-14. I'm here now with Jordan Ferencik with Quad A Driving Academy. Good to have you here, Jordan. You guys have been in business for 11 years, but now just recently, you're able to do something you haven't been able to do in that 11 years. What is that?
So as of this year, June 1st, we are officially a PennDOT certified third-party tester, which means any of our students who come through us, who do lessons with us, get to take their driver's exam with us on our own test course. So it's a lot less stressful than going to the DMV. And even if you're a student who doesn't want to wait the wait time to get into the DMV, you could come just take the test with us. We give that option also.
Awesome. Now you're based in Plains. You're one of the biggest driving academies in the area. What's your secret?
I mean, basically, we just focus on, giving the student the best possible experience. We want them to feel comfortable when they leave us. When they pass their test with us, we just don't want them to feel okay. We want them to feel fully ready to go, for life after Quad A and life on the road. So, we really focus on, the comfortability of the student, working on getting their confidence up every single lesson, but also, not making it a stressful time either. None of our instructors yell, raise their voices in the car. So, the way I look at it is, if I'm not calm, the student's not going to be calm. So we always try to remain calm in the vehicle, and at the end of the day, that gives the student a really good experience with us.
Now take us into the car. Imagine our viewers at home are 16 years old and need the driving lessons. What's going on?
So basically, your typical lesson, we're going to take you out on this, out in the city roads. We're going to, practice in stressful, environments during rush hour, get you changing lanes. Of course, one of the fears of parents, merging onto the highway. We really work on merging onto the highway skills, to get them confident with that. And then one of the biggest, fears out there for, any teenager or really anybody taking their test is the parallel parking. And we have a really simple way that we teach our parallel parking that's, a formula that breaks it down step by step and really makes it simple for the students. So that's one of the, reasons too that it gives them, an all-around great experience, but, really, again, that comfortability it's giving them too.
I still get nervous merging onto the highway. Now that you guys can give these tests, with people with permits throughout the entire state. What does that mean for you guys? Are you expanding? I mean, now you're such a much bigger area instead of just Luzerne County.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, again, we just started this June 1st of this year. So, we're just kind of getting in the role of giving the test and getting, we have eight of our instructors can give the exam, which is, a pretty cool thing. We have 6 cars, 14 instructors, so we're expanding, absolutely. And, our hope is to, keep going into other parts of PA to expand and to be able to give the test and, just kind of change the pace from the DMV where people go and they get a little bit nervous. We want to give them a more, comfortable experience at the end of the day, where they're not stressed or they're not super anxious or that fear, because yes, should you have a little anxiety learning how to drive? Yeah, but it should be fun too. Driving should be something that you enjoy doing, and we really take pride in that, letting kids have a good time doing it, but also making sure they're confident, they're comfortable, and they're cautious. Those are all important to us too.
Awesome, Jordan, thanks a lot. Quad A Driving Academy, putting our kids on the street. Paul, back to you.
So Wallenpaupack on 2nd and 24, give it to Shadrach Ajay. He goes straight ahead, picks up about 5 yards out to the 28.
Paul, before the start of the game, Wallenpaupack had a couple of keys to the game, and one was to establish the run game, which they've done fairly well. The other, however, was to limit big plays, and they've given up 2 very long passes that led to touchdowns on the part of the Wolfpack.
Yes, Coach Watson was telling us about that, and in his Grotto Pizza keys to the game, he really wanted to get the running game going, establish the run. On defense, he said we have to prevent the big play. They have been running the ball well, though, the Buckhorns have. So here's Guardsy dropping back, has a nice pocket, lots of time, looks to the right side, but his pass is inaccurate. 2 receivers over there, not sure which one he intended. Guardsy's 0 for 4 passing.
Had great protection that time. He rolled a little bit to his right and certainly had an opportunity to find the receiver open, but he threw the ball and it was low into the ground.
So 3rd and forever here. 3rd and 19.
This is not a position you want to be in at this particular point of the game.
Not on your own 28, because it's not 4-down territory. It's 3 downs and punt. So Wallenpaupack will work from the shotgun here, and they need a big gainer.
Screen pass.
The screen pass works well, but after Ajay caught it, I don't know if he was going to gain another 18 or 19 yards. But it is the first completion of the night for Guardsy.
Nice play made by Tyler Wood. Read the screen very well.
A good call by Coach Watson, because the Wolfpack had the blitz coming, and that's the idea of the screen.
If they did, they were probably in man, and that meant somebody had the back. So you'd say, Paul, that on 3rd down and long, screen pass is one of the things is a possibility, and you certainly have to execute that extremely well for it to work.
Williams and McCoy back to return. Levant kicks it. There's McCoy. He goes over to the left side, stops and hesitates, and then turns on the speed up the left sideline and knocked out of bounds at the 33-yard line. So there's the dangerous return man there. Number 14, Raphael McCoy, got his hands on the ball, and you could see the danger. He about 1 step away from breaking that one all the way to the other end of the field.
He received a great block that time by Anthony Nguyen.
So Taylor drops back, throws the pass. It is complete to McCoy. He cuts it across the middle, inside the red zone, and down to the 6-yard line. Big completion.
Wallenpaupack's corners are playing way off, Paul. You got to give credit to the Wolfpack to just take advantage of that. It's pitch and catch without much pressure. Ball's coming out of the hands of the quarterback very quickly.
That puts Taylor at 100 yards passing today. He is 6 for 6 passing.
And Swinney's in the game. I thought you told me that Coach Cinti didn't like to throw the ball.
It's a new Coach Cinti, a new school district, and everything else is new. And that is a Figured Law Firm touchdown by Corey Brown for Wilkes-Barre area. Brown now has 83 yards on 4 carries. Great blocking that time by Wilkes-Barre area. Gaping hole for him to run through.
If you like points, this is a great game.
Yes, take the over. Wilkes-Barre has their first lead of the game. And that extra point is good. So it's 21-17. Wilkes-Barre has their first lead of the night. And that seemed as easy as could be. Get a great kick return. Start on your opponent's 33. And in a few plays, you've got yourself a touchdown and a lead.
Friday Night Rivals is brought to you by the legendary taste of Grotto Pizza, a northeastern Pennsylvania favorite since 1953. Order online now at www.grottopizzapa.com. Well, Paul, we said this again, no big plays. That's the key to stopping the Wolfpack to some degree. That was one of the goals of Wallenpaupack head coach Mark Watson before the game, and they have not been able to do that. Whether it's the return on the punt or 2 long passes, the Wolfpack has had their way against the defense of the Buckhorns.
So Wilkes-Barre area goes 33 yards in 39 seconds. And now they're whistling Dixie because they are
when you
when
have a young team, it's to get the consistency. Like last week, Coach Watson said they played great against North Pocono defensively. Their defense tonight has been less than that.
Chad Regan will kick it off. We've seen plenty of kickoffs tonight so far. Horak is back to return. Matt Horak takes it up the left sideline. Tries to squeak through, but not enough room. And he is knocked out of bounds by Abu Bakr Samaki. And Wallenpaupack starts on their own 30. So Vargo's been doing all the kick returning tonight, but Horak finally got one. He's been back there joining Vargo, but that time Horak. So Guardsy back out, leading his offense here, and we'll see if he's doing it with his feet or with his arm.
Well, he's been more successful running the football than he has been throwing it.
Ball on the left hash, so 2 receivers on the right. When we go I formation, there's Ajay right up the middle. He shoots through. Straight ahead, stumbles and falls. I think he dropped the ball, but then fell on top of it. It's a 9-yard gain.
He's got quickness. He hits the hole with great intensity.
Nice hole right there. Good block by Liam Smith. And the ball did shoot free. Ajay lost it, but Wallenpaupack was able to recover. 2nd and 1 is just the most exciting play, I think, in football. You
have an opportunity to do a lot of different types of things. You want to pick up the first down, you do that. If you want to play action, you can do that.
Coach Watson goes conservative and back to Ajay, who shoots straight ahead. And I think he did pick up the Luzerne Community College first down.
He's going to get a good spot here.
Just enough. Just enough. Holding it with 2 hands because he dropped it on the last carry. So that will work. 1st and 10 now for Wallenpaupack, out to the 40.
With less than 5 minutes to go, this is a big series for the Buckhorns. Keep possession of the football, keep it out of the hands of that very effective Wolfpack offense.
Wallenpaupack has led for most of the night, but now they find themselves trailing by 4. Guardsy takes his time, some shifting and movement on the offensive line, and that brings out all of the yellow clods.
You know, Paul, sometimes your best defense is your offense. If they can keep the football, move the chains, and really let the clock run out, it's something that, as a coach, you appreciate that as long as you can get some points while you're holding that ball for a long time.
So 3 penalties on this Buckhorn offense, adding up to 30 yards backwards. Wallenpaupack starting to hurt themselves a little bit. They'll be looking at 1st and 15, now from their own 35. Guardsy to pass. Ajay throws a great block, but Guardsy's under pressure, scrambles to the right side, and just gets it out of the way. So that's incomplete. Guardsy now is 1 for 6 for -1 yard passing.
I don't know whether this call is an intentional grounding.
Well, he was well out of the pocket, but no
That doesn't matter in high
receiver near
school.
him.
It should, but it doesn't.
Personal foul against Wilkes-Barre area. This is the 15.
So this is some extra contact against the Wolfpack here, so that's going to be 15 yards.
Coach Cynthia said before the game, cut down on our penalties. Well, there's one that's going to hurt them a little bit.
That will lead to a Luzerne Community College 1st down and put Wallenpaupack right on the 50-yard line. 3:46 to go in the half. Buckhorns driving, trying to go into the locker room with the lead. Snap is high, but Guardsy handles it. Ajay straight up the middle. He finds the crack, accelerates into open field to the 30, down to the 20. Ajay still going. It takes 3 players to bring him down inside the 20, down to the 17-yard line.
It's a 33-yard gain. 1st and 10 for the Buckhorns at the 17.
Shadrach has great awareness. He's running to daylight, shows a lot of acceleration. So the Buckhorns have been able to generate their offensive run game quite effectively this quarter.
It's a Luzerne Community College 1st down as Wallenpaupack moves the ball into the Allied Services red zone. Ajay with a big hole on the right side. He shoots through down to the 5-yard line. And I think that's an 11-yard gain, 10 or 11 for a 1st down.
Wilkes-Barre is in a 4-man front, and there's gaping holes. They're either getting blocked. I wasn't sure whether they did any slanting at that particular point, but you could have driven a small vehicle through that hole. Great blocking there by Liam Smith, or excuse me, Seamus
Smith.
Smith.
Yes. Well, this Ajay, he's just a sophomore, but he's got
I'm
12
impressed with his
carries.
quickness. I'm impressed with his ability to get into the hole and then accelerate. He runs downhill, and that's what you want your runners to do.
Guardsy's going to follow Ajay this time, but nowhere to go. Guardsy picks up about
He lost the
2.
ball, too. Fortunately, he was able to fall on it. You see here in the replay.
Smith ahead, and then Ajay. Guardsy tries to cut it, but Malik Robinson is there. Guardsy drops it, does recover it, and he's on the 5-yard line, so 2nd and goal from the 5. Guardsy gets the high snap, cuts it over to the left side, down close to the goal line, but yes, he did get in. It's a touchdown for Wallenpaupack. Guardsy, 3rd score of the game. And Wallenpaupack goes back into the lead. He just kept twisting and turning and fighting his way. Wilkes-Barre couldn't quite find him and get a good handle on him.
Is this going to be one of those games that's going to be determined who has the ball last?
It could be. Lavant for the extra point. And it's good. 100 seconds left in this half. And it's 24-21 Wallenpaupack. And I didn't expect this high scoring of a half.
I certainly didn't, especially how much they've floundered with their offense in recent weeks. It's good to see that they've made some adjustments and that they're certainly blocking up front extremely well.
There's a 70-yard drive, really without a hiccup. They got the benefit of a personal foul against Wilkes-Barre. That moved them out to the 50. But Ajayi breaks off a big run. Guardsy does it with his legs. They didn't even need to pass the ball.
No, they don't. And the offensive line of the Buckhorns is doing a tremendous job creating space for these runners. And Guardsy and Ajayi look like they know what they're doing. They run to daylight. Notice what the Wolfpack's doing. They're putting their two returners a little closer to each other.
So Levant will kick it off. And again, Williams and McCoy back to return. McCoy's the dangerous man, but Williams is no slouch either. And now they separate the two. And that's going to go to Williams on the left side. Williams cuts it back to the right, straight up the middle of the field, dives across the 30-yard line, and that's where the Wolfpack will start. So we're in week 8 and only 2 weeks left in the regular season. And you see here's Wilkes-Barre area's final schedule, both on the road. They finished with their last 3 away. So at Williamsport and then at Berwick. So not easy games for Wilkes-Barre area, but a good chance for them to make the playoffs. Top 4 teams in the class will make the playoffs. Right now, Wilkes-Barre is in 2nd place. Scranton is close in 3rd behind them. Here's the pass completion to McCoy, and McCoy takes off. Cuts it back across the middle. Look at the speed, look at the moves. McCoy up the left sideline, and finally brought down on the 15-yard line. No penalties.
This is a rocket screen, we used to call this, bringing the outside receiver back towards the middle of the football field. And McCoy is dangerous when he has that football.
54-yard completion.
We said no big plays, and that's been the bane of the Buckhorns at this point. 1 minute and 3 seconds to go. Buckhorns have to tighten up here defensively.
Here's Taylor. He goes to the right side, and there you say tighten up defensively because he has nowhere to go. And then he squirts
into
free.
the end zone.
Well, we got 2 penalty flags coming in there, so we'll see what that's called. But he's knocked out at the 1-yard line. Final minute of the half, 44 seconds on the clock. 2 flags came in. I'm thinking there's a face mask in there. There might be a hold or a block in the back. In which case, that would be a penalty against each team, so they would offset and they'd replay, but we'll hear what the conversation is about.
Half the distance.
Referee Tom Finan. There's your face mask, and that's against Wallenpaupack. And it looks like both flags were for the face mask. So they'll add that on to the end of the play. Well, half the distance doesn't really matter. He was knocked out at the 1 anyway.
Paul, we've seen a development in high school football locally with the way quarterbacks are playing the game, putting them in the shotgun or in the pistol and giving them that run-pass option. We see Cam Taylor's does it. Tyrell White from Scranton High, Janessa Boone, Caden Merrifield.
So Wilkes-Barre area calls a timeout here because with 27 seconds, they want to make sure they have the right play in. But you mentioned that, and I think you're sort of seeing the same thing at the collegiate level too, because colleges are now putting quarterbacks in there who are great athletes, not necessarily pocket passers with cannons for arms. Guys great with their feet and instinctual athletes.
Well, you take a look at some of the players that are in the NFL at this point. Russell Wilson does that type of thing. Kyler Murray, who played at Oklahoma as a Heisman Trophy winner, does that type of thing. The days of just the straight drop-back quarterback are numbered for the most part. I don't think there'll be too many more Tom Brady's or people like that. You get these quarterbacks that can move out of the pocket, and it places a tremendous amount of pressure on the defense.
Okay, so Wilkes-Barre is in second place in 6A, but you see Scranton right on their tails, even though Wilkes-Barre beat Scranton and Wilkes-Barre has one loss. It's all the point system. Delaware Valley comfortably in first place. So Swinney will be at quarterback here as we go goal line formation, 3 backs, and everyone's just going to pile on and try to drive their legs, and we have the touchdown. Swinney gets it across the line in Wilkes-Barre area, scores a figured law firm touchdown. Swinney's
Well, if you
been
like
quiet
offensive
tonight.
football and you didn't come here tonight or not watching us, you're missing out a lot.
Boy, have we even had a punt? I don't even remember.
Yeah, I
having a
think we
punt.
had
Maybe
one.
just one.
Paupack punted once.
Number 4, Michael Deutsch-Jones will attempt the extra point for the Wolfpack.
Deutsch Jones to attempt the extra point. Right now, Wilkes-Barre ahead by 3. And now they're ahead by 4 with 23 seconds to go. Back and forth first half of football here tonight beside the lake. Coach, you coached here for many years, and when you look at this facility now, you've seen some upgrades, seen some improvements, and what's it like to visit the old school?
The school board and the administration, they've done a tremendous job of improving the facilities here at Wallenpaupack. As you and I discussed beforehand, when I first got here, this field was not very good. It didn't drain very well. There were no lights. There was a cinder track at this particular point, and the upgrades have been remarkable. Paul, I know this is a little biased, but this is one of the finest school districts in the state. They put kids first, and then they ask questions about how much it's going to cost second. And it was a pleasure to work here. The administration and the school board are behind their teachers, but these facilities are second to none.
Well, I would echo that. In my many years in the media here, Wallenpaupack was always a good assignment. Always looked forward to talking to their kids. Some of them compete at the state levels in different sports, and you just get a good attitude and a good quality. We have 2 quality schools right here tonight at this field representing high school football.
You know, Paul, I mentioned to you before the game a little side note. The night that we were going to play with lights for the first night, the Thursday before that game against Honesdale, we came out to practice to get used to the lights, and we were doing some drills down away from the scoreboard side, and I looked up into the area behind the fence, and what did we see but a couple of deer walking down towards the field, and I made sure that all of our players said, there's an omen. Tomorrow we're going to take on Honesdale, and we're going to be a victor.
Okay. Of course, Wallenpaupack is the Buckhorns, named after the deer that are abundant in this area. Lots of hunting, but also, of course, a lot of fishing and boating and water recreation, as we are literally less than 100 yards from the water of Lake Wallenpaupack where we sit. So Wallenpaupack not content with the 17 seconds to kneel it out. They're going to try to do something with the ball. Ajayi straight up the middle, and he'll pick up 2, and Wallenpaupack will take a timeout. Enormous first half for Ajayi. 124 yards. 13 carries. He hasn't gotten into the end zone, though. That's been all guardsy. But yeah, the next couple of years, we're going to hear a lot about Shadrach Ajayi. Sophomore and a nice player.
He's got good, quick feet, and like I said earlier, what I like is his explosion into the holes. Now, granted, he's got some nice wide holes to run into, but that acceleration, and for the most part, he really attempts to finish his runs, which means that he drops his hips, lowers that shoulder, and advances forward rather than trying to make a play when there's nothing there and getting knocked backwards.
So with 11 seconds, Coach, you think they should kneel on it, or you like
well,
this thought?
Wilkes-Barre's in a cover 2. If they're going to get something deep, it's going to be awfully difficult.
Guardsy will keep it around the right side, out of bounds, and that will stop the clock. 4 seconds left. And he doesn't pick up anything, maybe a yard.
I'm not sure that's the play I want to run with my quarterback.
Well, Guardsy hasn't passed well here in the first half. He's 1 for 6 for -1 yard. So.
Well, I spoke to Alex before the game. I would introduce myself because I coached his father when I first came to Wallenpaupack, and try to encourage him to just work every day to get a little bit better as a passer.
So with 4 seconds, Wilkes-Barre goes into the prevent defense. They send 4 players deep into the defensive backfield, but Wallenpaupack will keep it on the ground. Straight ahead, and that's a Luzerne Community College first down, and some nice statistics as well. 7-yard gain, but that brings us to the end of the half. So the end of the first half as Wilkes-Barre had 28-24, and let's throw it down to Dylan Fearon.
Ciro, high intense, high scoring game. What did you articulate to your players down 10-0?
Nothing. Play defense. That's the bottom line. I mean, the Buckhorns are doing a heck of a job on us on offense, and we're just not tackling worth the crap, and guys aren't doing their responsibility. So got to clamp down on defense, and that's offensively we're doing what we want to do, but defensively, I mean, we're missing tackles. We're not doing assignments. I mean, it's very sloppy, and it's not good. It's not good, and we just have to regroup at halftime, get our adjustments, and then we'll be okay for the second half.
On the offensive side, we talked pregame, 2 dynamic quarterbacks that can help you guys out. What have you seen from your guys under center?
They've done this all year. It's nothing new from us. That we expect that every year from these guys, every game from these guys. So they do this every week in, week out. So, they're 2 great kids. They feed off each other, and they're both having good halves.
Thanks, Ciro. Good luck. Paul, back to you.
You didn't have those arms when you were in high school.
Okay, so that'll bring us to the Toyota halftime. Please stay with us. It is homecoming here tonight at Wallenpaupack, but we'll look at highlights and review the first half and set you up for the second half. Stay with us, where Wilkes-Barre leads Wallenpaupack 28-24. You're watching Allied Services Friday Night Rivals on MyTV WQMY. And as the teams get ready to prepare for the second half of football tonight, we visit the Allied Services facility here in Clark Summit with some exciting news. I'm joined by Bill Conboy, the president of Allied Services. And Allied always has been expanding, but this past week, a new expansion into Wilkes-Barre.
Yes, thanks very much. It's really a great week for the Allied Services healthcare system, for the Diocese of Scranton, for the communities of Northeast and Central Pennsylvania, and most importantly, for the residents, the patients, and the employees of the facilities in Wilkes-Barre that Allied Services purchased from the Diocese of Scranton.
And you've been building up to this for a while, looking at it, and finally purchased them this past week. What's your intentions with those facilities?
Yes, after months of work, we intend with these facilities, which are formerly known as Little Flower Manor and St. Therese Residence, which are on Meade Street in Wilkes-Barre, and formerly known as St. Luke's Villa, which is on Northampton Street in Wilkes-Barre. These are skilled nursing facilities, personal care facilities, and 1 independent living facility. So our intent is to continue the wonderful tradition of care that the Diocese of Scranton has provided for many years, and to bring our resources to improve those facilities and hopefully to improve the care, although it's always been terrific, but to bring our skill set, our clinicians, our expertise to those facilities and continue to operate them as they are.
Yes, the diocese made the establishment in the community, and now Allied Services will continue their work and grow it, make it big, make it prosperous for years to come. And most importantly, you're continuing with the residents, you're continuing with all the staff there as well.
Absolutely. We made that commitment with the diocese when we reached the agreement to purchase the facilities. Certainly to continue to operate them as they are, again, to bring our expertise to all those levels of care. But also, we kept all the employees that wanted to stay with us. Certainly some chose to retire, etc. But the great majority, nearly 400 employees, now become employees of Allied Services, bringing our numbers of employment in this community to an excess of 4,000 employees.
So we're one of the largest employers in northeastern and central Pennsylvania, but again, it's always about community with Allied. This is in the heart of Wilkes-Barre. You're going to establish yourself as part of the neighborhood, helping all of Wilkes-Barre, the city, branching out into Luzerne County. That's what Allied does best.
Thank you. That really is our commitment. That's our mission. That's the difference with a not-for-profit healthcare system. Part of our mission is not only the care that we provide, but also to strengthen the communities where we operate. And we're really thrilled to be in this part of Wilkes-Barre. We, of course, have our campus in Wilkes-Barre, the John Hines campus on Mundy Street, but now we move into another section of Wilkes-Barre, and we look forward to continuing to grow these operations and to supporting the community and our employees and the people we care for.
And always good to see a business growing and prospering in northeastern Pennsylvania and doing well. And I'm sure this isn't the end. I'm sure down the road we'll have more announcements because Allied is always growing. But for now, exciting news this week, and I know there's a lot of thrills around the Allied Services community.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Okay, Bill Conboy, the president of Allied Services. They're growing and expanding, and this week the announcement is in Wilkes-Barre. We thank them for their support all season long, and we'll be back with the second half of football right here on Friday Night Rivals on MyTV WQMY.
I'm here today with Matt Daly from State Farm. Matt, can you explain to us what your company is and what you guys do?
Sure. We're a full-service insurance agency based in Kingston, Pennsylvania, and we do pretty much all types of insurance: auto, home, life, disability, renter's insurance, you name it, we do it.
That's great. I hear that you guys are doing something within the community. Can you explain to us what exactly that is?
Sure. In support of Breast Cancer Awareness Month through the month of October, we're doing a program that State Farm calls Quotes for Good. And what that is anybody that calls in for a quote in October will give $5 donation to the Susan Komen Foundation for Breast Cancer Awareness.
So why did you guys decide to get involved with that? Is there a specific reason, or?
Well, State Farm likes to be part of the community, and you know, everybody knows us as the good neighbor agents, and you know, most of us live right in the area that we do business in, so we like to support our local communities as they support us.
But speaking of local communities, I hear you're a big football fan, so this is probably exciting, this game tonight. Why did you used to play, or?
I did play from a little kid up and through high school, also wrestled. And I've been actively involved in coaching football and wrestling throughout my adult life, and always like to support the sports and help the kids, you know, grow as individuals. I think it's done really well for myself. So.
Well, that's great. So can you remind us one more time where people can find you and how they can contact you?
Absolutely. It's 348 Pierce Street in Kingston, right next to the Wyoming Valley West football stadium. Our phone number is 570-714-7979, and our website is mattdalyinsurance.com.
Thank you, Matt, for being here with us, and now back to the game.
Thank you.
Halftime continues with Wilkes-Barre leading Wallenpaupack 28-24. Prior to the game, Bob Marhefka of Allied Services presented Wallenpaupack principal Jim Kane with a check for $250 in gratitude of tonight's game. And we're certainly enjoying our stay here at Wallenpaupack and always appreciate Allied Services and them joining us. Well, Coach, here we are at halftime. Wilkes-Barre in the lead, but it's been so back and forth. I don't think you can say Wilkes-Barre has too much of an advantage. It's just been all offense.
Yeah, the strange thing about this is that last week North Pocono scored 18 points, but Mark Watson said his defense played very, very well. He was happy with that, but the offense sputtered. Tonight, the offense is generating points, yardage, and the defense has given up big plays. So there's been a reversal there, and that's the thing that's got the Buckhorns behind by 4 points.
Well, Wallenpaupack averages 12 points a game. They already have double that tonight. In the first half, they have 24 points.
Well, again, you know, you're correcting one deficiency, and perhaps the other, the asset becomes a deficiency. Who knows? Again, I'm going to go back to a point we made earlier, and that's this is a young Buckhorn team. They're young. They've got a lot of experience that they've got to gain. Mark graduated, I think, something like 23 or 24 seniors from last year's team. So he understands that there's growing pains that take place.
Okay, let's take a look at some of those highlights, many of them. We don't have time to get to all of them, but we'll get to quite a few of them. Wallenpaupack got off to a great start. There's a 38-yard field goal from Levant, made it 3-0. Then an onside kick set up Wallenpaupack for Guardsy's 42-yard touchdown run to make it 10-0. Wilkes-Barre finally got on the board. Taylor to Williams, and this one is 26 yards, and that made it 10-7. Wilkes-Barre has passed well tonight.
They have.
But Guardsy for Wallenpaupack has all of their touchdowns. That's 3. Here's number 2. There's 23 yards. That made it 17-7. Guardsy goes from 5 yards here. This makes it 24-21. Wallenpaupack goes back in front. And then right at the end of the first half, in the final minute, Taylor dove in for a 1-yard score. That put Wilkes-Barre ahead here at the break, 28-24 Wilkes-Barre. But you just never know how it's going to go. Now the Wolfpack will get the ball here to start the third quarter. As good as Wilkes-Barre has passed, Wallenpaupack does need to get the passing game going here in the second half.
Well, again, that's been one of their deficiencies throughout the entire season. There's been an inconsistency. And when you're a first-year quarterback, Paul, it's a difficult game, especially if you don't have a lot of experience coming up through the ranks, if you will. I've always preached that the quarterback position is the most difficult position to learn to play because you have to see everything. And the game is fast when you're inexperienced. And as you gain more experience, you're able to read defenses a little bit more effectively. The game slows down, and then you can actually perform. You can execute a lot better because you know what you're doing. Sometimes it's, I know I was a backup quarterback for 3 years in high school, and sometimes it gets chaotic back there, and you get panicky. And I said to Alex before the game, I said, probably one of the best things that you can gain is to have poise, regardless of what goes on in terms of one play to the next. Be poised.
Okay, homecoming ceremonies continue here on the field at Wallenpaupack, and ladies wearing sashes and holding flowers. Now, in District 2, 5A, here's how we look after 7 weeks. There you see Wallenpaupack in 4th place. Now, the top 4 will make the playoffs. Wallenpaupack is the defending champion, and this is a sub-regional, so just District 2 and District 11. But you see Wallenpaupack right on the heels of Pocono Mountain East. Both have 3 and 4 records. That will go right down to the final week. And most likely both of them will make the playoffs as Wyoming Valley West is in a distant 5th place. Southern Lehigh clearly out in front. But Wallenpaupack...
Seeing Valley West where there are is a little bit of a surprise.
Yeah. Well, we saw Valley West in week 2. They played Hazelton, and Valley West lost their quarterback. Just got him back last week, but not playing full time. That's really what hurt Valley West's season. So the King and the Queen get to ride off in the golf cart here and have a memory that will last forever. Want to give you some statistics from the first half. Cam Taylor for Wilkes-Barre passing 7 for 7, 154 yards, and he threw 2 touchdowns. His first pass was a 26-yard touchdown. On the ground, Brown for Wilkes-Barre, he had 4 carries for 83 yards and a touchdown. And McCoy receiving has 128 yards, and he's also done well returning kicks. For Wallenpaupack statistics, Guardsy passing 1 for 6 for -1 yards. Guardsy running 7 carries, 79 yards, 3 touchdowns. And Ajay for Wallenpaupack, 13 carries, 124 yards. So stay with us. When we come back, we'll have the opening kickoff of the third quarter, and that second half should be as exciting as the first. Wolfpack lead the Buckhorns by 4. You're watching Allied Services Friday Night Rivals on MyTV WQMY. They bundle up here lakeside in Hawley at Wallenpaupack Area High School. Nice fall night for a football game. This stadium features bleachers on only one side of the field, so fans from both teams sitting there. Buckhorns back out of the locker room here, ready to get going here in the second half. They will start on defense. Only 1 punt in that entire first half, and it was Wallenpaupack who punted it. We saw a couple of turnovers, but other than that, every possession resulted in a score. 1 punt, a turnover from each team, the rest of that all scoring. We even had a 38-yard field goal, which I always like to see in high school football. I would hope the kicking game improves in high school football really across the board. It's always nice to see a team use that kind of weapon.
It is. We see a lot of teams going to the soccer program to steal a kid from soccer to come and be a kicker. That's what they do, playing the game. And it's been a benefit for a lot of our local teams finding somebody like that.
Well, Wilkes-Barre's used their 2-quarterback system pretty well, Taylor and Swinney. Swinney hasn't thrown the ball. Taylor's had all the pass attempts, but it wouldn't be out of the ordinary to see Swinney put it up. But for the most part, Wilkes-Barre has found that balance on offense, and that's something Wallenpaupack's going to have to account for.
Well, again, we said that Guardsy's completion rate has to go up considerably. I think you mentioned, Paul, that he was averaging, 30-some% of his passes?
Yes.
And that's just not going to get it done. You've got to be able to have some effectiveness from that position to balance with your run. And Ajay has been terrific. He's averaging almost 10 yards per rush. But without having some balance and the ability to complete some passes, it's going to be negated to some degree.
Okay. So total offense in that first half, Wilkes-Barre 256 yards, Wallenpaupack 218 yards. Time of possession really favored toward Wallenpaupack. They had 15:36 with the ball, only 8:24 for Wilkes-Barre, but that just tells you the big play in the first half.
Exactly. That's what I was just going to say, that when they've needed large chunk of yardage, the Wolfpack has gotten that, whereas Paupack has relied on, for the most part, Sadrak Ajay. And then Guardsy, when they got inside the 30-yard line or so, with the exception of the one run, they've been able to rely on both of those runners.
As a coach, was time of possession something that you ever focused or talked to your team
about? Well, if you're scoring quickly and you're scoring a lot, time of possession doesn't mean anything.
Right.
But as I said earlier, that when you're on offense and you can sustain drives for any extended period, that's time that the other team doesn't have the ball and is not going to score unless there's a turnover.
Yes, time of possession, usually an overrated thing. So let's hear from Wallenpaupack coach Dr. Watson and throw it down to Dylan Fearon.
Thanks, Paul. Mark, high scoring game, high intense game. You're up 10-0 out of the gate. Their offense comes back. What did you articulate to your players in the locker room?
Well, we just told them we have to take care of number 14. 14's done a great job with us in this game so far, and we can contain him. We're going to be doing all right tonight.
They play 2 quarterbacks. They switch them up. Dynamic, good offense, good running game. You said you have to contain him. How do you do that?
Well, we're going to put one of our best kids on him. You know, we're going to play our defense. I thought our defense is playing very well tonight. It's just that guy has kind of beaten us a few times. He's a good player. He's very fast, but we're going to try and take care of the second half.
Thanks, Mark. Good luck. Paul, back to you.
Okay, thank you, Dylan. Thank you, Dr. Mark. Penalties in that first half. Each team penalized 3 times, or at least had 3 marked off. For Wilkes-Barre area, it was 40 yards. 3 penalties for 40 yards, and for Wallenpaupack, it was 3 penalties for 20 yards. Wilkes-Barre had to get out of school early to come up here today. They operate out of 3 different buildings in Wilkes-Barre, so they had to skip the last period and head out to the bus and get over to the field, get changed, and then this is their longest road trip of the season. They do go to Hazleton, but they'll come all the way up to here to Wallenpaupack, and that's a long ride for them.
But they came on a nice bus.
They did. This wasn't your average, ordinary, everyday school bus. Wilkes-Barre's traveling in style here.
Yes, they did.
You know, Coach, it's working out. The support that Wilkes-Barre has gotten, the fresh air, the new life, breathe into the program, new uniforms, new look, new name, it's working.
You know, one of the things is the young men from Wilkes-Barre got off the bus. They all had ties on. And that sends a message to me as a coach that you know, you want to create a sense of team unity. You know, they don't have sweats that they give to everybody that aren't looking alike, so they wear ties as a unit. And I think that they're trying to instill discipline on these kids that come from, you know, a lot of different backgrounds and 3 different schools.
Okay, we're ready to start this second half, and hopefully it's as exciting as the first. Roman Levance will do the kicking, a left-footer. And it's McCoy and Williams deep, and once again, they're going to kick it over to Williams up the left side. Don't want to have McCoy return it. He is one of the most dangerous return men in the district. All the way out to the 29-yard line, the Wolfpack will start.
You know, one of the things that the Wolfpack could possibly do when they keep kicking it to Williams is for him to come to this side and run a little bit of a reverse.
So Wilkes-Barre's been using two quarterbacks here on the night, and they've been going no huddle. They'll start with Cameron Taylor under center. He takes most of the snaps for the Pack. High formation, one receiver on the right. Taylor hands off, straight ahead and up the middle.
Punishing runner.
Corey Brown dives forward, and he picks up 8 on his first touch of the half.
Again, you teach your running backs to finish their runs, drop their hips, lower their shoulders, and make the tackler pay for it. You know, there's cliches. You want to be the hammer or the nail, and as a running back, you want to be that hammer.
Brett Levant with the tackle. Now 2nd and less than 2 for the Pack. McCoy in motion. Taylor drops back, looking to pass, but then tucks it under his arm, takes off to run. He'll pick up the Luzerne Community College first down on the 2-yard gain.
They were looking for the home run in that play, looking to throw the ball to the wide receiver to the right.
Robinson was deep that time, but well covered. 1st and 10 now, out to the 40 for Wilkes-Barre. Taylor with the handoff, but nowhere to go. I don't even know if it's a gain of 1.
Paul, if we see that set again on replay, take a look at the receiver and the defensive back here towards our press box side. The receiver is got a 12-yard cushion. It's a one-on-one situation. You see the same thing here.
Noah Taylor's been quiet tonight. He's been their featured back all season, but it's been Brown and Cam Taylor.
There it is.
Cam Taylor looking to pass. McCoy is covered. Now McCoy throws the block. Taylor takes off. Scrambles ahead for a pickup of a couple. Brandon King brings him down.
It's a big 3rd down play for the Buckhorns. You want to get that ball back in their hands.
Going to be 3rd and 7 now. And looks like Swinney will take the snap at quarterback. Yeah, consistently, Swinney has been the 3rd down quarterback. He works out of the shotgun. 3 receivers on the left side. Swinney's going to make his first pass attempt, and that one is incomplete. Well, we had a high-scoring back-and-forth first half, only 1 punt, and here we start the 3rd quarter, and the first possession results in a punt. That's the first incomplete pass of any kind on the night for Wilkes-Barre. Taylor's been 7 for 7. Now Swinney 0 for 1. D'Alessio back to return for Wallenpaupack. Regan will punt. Low line drive right to D'Alessio, calls fair catch. Brings it in on the 24-yard line where the Buckhorns will start.
Announcing 2 new senior living communities providing the highest level of care, comfort, and convenience right in your own backyard. St. Teresa Residence is now Meade Street Residence, and St. Luke's Villa is now Central City Residence. If you or a loved one requires skilled nursing, consider the quality care you can only find from Allied Services. Go to alliedservices.org.
Alex Gardzi's been all offense for Wallenpaupack today. He has 3 touchdowns, 79 yards. He's been handing the ball off frequently to Shadrach Ajay. Ajay 13 carries, 124 yards.
Let's see if they can get a little bit more balance, Paul, in this half.
Passing game has not been there for Wallenpaupack. -1 yards today. Ajay takes it left side, and Wilkes-Barre's there to gobble him up.
Little or no gain on that play.
They do give him 1 yard gain. It's nice when you're over 100 yards in the first half like Ajay was. He got 124.
And again, he had gaping holes for the most part. You got to credit that offensive line for creating those.
He's had big holes to burst through, and then once he burst through them, he became elusive and found open space to work through. 2nd and 9. Guardsy out of the shotgun. The snap is high, and a lot of snaps this evening have been high for the Buckhorns in the shotgun formation.
Guardsy's not very tall. They better keep that down so it doesn't sail really over his head.
Guardsy is 5'8". Illegal procedure against the Buckhorns, so that high snap won't matter.
That'll be a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot.
20 yards in penalties against the Paupack offense tonight.
Buckhorns, the 20.
So call it 2nd down and 14 now. Guardsy remains in the shotgun. Nice, good snap. Pass is complete over to the right side. D'Alessio again. D'Alessio picks up about 10 yards.
Now, Paul, what we saw in that play is something that can really be very productive for the Buckhorn pass game. Again, it's a 3-step drop. The stop is being run at 6 to 7 yards. It's pitch and catch. As long as those corners are off the receiver, those plays can be very, very successful.
That'll make it about 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6 right here. And Wallenpaupack will come out in a passing formation. Guardsy out of the shotgun. But a timeout here. Coach Watson wants to talk this one over. So we'll be back in the 3rd quarter with Wilkes-Barre leading 28-24. This is Friday Night Rivals on MyTV WQMY. Well, Coach, timeouts in the second half are even more valuable. So here, first possession for Wallenpaupack. Coach Watson wanted a timeout on 3rd.
Yeah, there was something that he obviously didn't like either with the play call or with the formation. Here they are, and essentially they're in a pro set. 2 backs with the quarterback, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end.
Guardsy's going to keep it himself. Go straight up the middle and fall forward. Keep the feet moving, but I think he's short of that first down. Yep, 2 yards short of that first down.
It's a 4-yard gain, 4th down and 2.
That's his 8th carry, now up to 82 yards for Guardsy, but couldn't get it, and now Wallenpaupack will punt the ball. Their 2nd punt of the game. Brett Levant will do the punting. Williams to return for Wilkes-Barre.
Area.
Low snap, and the kick is big and high and long, and Wilkes-Barre will let it drop and just roll right out of bounds at the 32-yard line, so Wilkes-Barre will take over there. The penalty proves to hurt Wallenpaupack there. They were moving the ball, but a penalty backed them up a little bit, and so they ended up punting, and now Wilkes-Barre takes over and tries to build on their lead.
And decent field position at the 32-yard line. And again, what Wallenpaupack needs to avoid is another big play. Whether it's a run or it's a pass, they've got to be able to limit the effectiveness of that Wolfpack long offense.
Swinney at quarterback. Toss to Taylor. Taylor's got room. He rolls it out forward, 10, give him 11 yards, and that's a Luzerne Community College first down. Taylor has been so quiet tonight.
Yeah, he hasn't had many touches. And again, he finishes the run. It's a toss play to the wide side of the field. He had a lot of protection out there, and he just planted that foot and cut it up for a big gain.
So now 1st and 10, and Wilkes-Barre brings out a new formation here. We saw this on the goal line before, but haven't seen it in the middle of the field like we are right now.
They're unbalanced. They've got an end split to Wallenpaupack's bench and 3 guys in the backfield besides the quarterback.
Swinney, and he hands it off to Taylor. Taylor on the right side rumbles forward. Nice strong drive with the legs and an 8-yard pickup.
Again, they came back to the less forceful part of the formation, back to the guard tackle.
Wilkes-Barre will stick with Swinney.
Same formation, except the backs are to the other side, towards the Wolfpack bench.
Swinney looking to put it up again. His second attempt of the game, going deep, and it is caught. Hauled in. Raphael McCoy has had the big play tonight.
There's a track champ right there. Raphael McCoy just ran right by the corner. And you've got to be impressed with the accuracy of the quarterbacks. They're throwing the long ball right on the money.
It's a 36-yard gain. First and 10 for the Wolfpack at the 12.
167 yards receiving tonight for McCoy. His first catch went for -6 yards. Hand off to Brown.
Not much there. A little bit of a reverse pivot by the quarterback. And it looked like an inside handoff, a little bit of a counter.
It's a 1-yard gain.
Pickup of a couple for Wilkes-Barre. They find themselves in the Allied Services red zone. And a penalty flag flies before the snap.
It's encroachment.
This is a neutral
Against the defense.
Wallenpaupack area. 5-yard penalty from previous spot.
Mistakes. Wallenpaupack makes mistakes. That's their second penalty of this half.
Yeah, you just can't shoot yourself in the foot. You can't have penalties.
That'll put the ball at the 6-yard line. 2nd and 5. Taylor's going to option it to the right side. There's Brown. Brown squirts around and in. And that's a touchdown for Wilkes-Barre.
That's the first time they showed the option tonight. I had seen on tape that they ran it in some of their previous games.
So Brown gets his second score. He has 7 carries, 99 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And Wilkes-Barre area extends their lead. Executed to perfection on the option.
I like the way they finished their runs. Corey Brown that time just lowered his shoulder and knocked the defender from Wallenpaupack into the end zone.
Extra point for Wilkes-Barre, right down the middle. 5:02 left in the third. The score 35-24. Wilkes-Barre leads Wallenpaupack. You're watching Allied Services Friday Night Rivals on MyTV WQMY. So Guardsy works out of the shotgun now, and fumble on the snap, but a flag and a whistle, and
I think it was illegal motion that time.
Yeah.
There was movement before the center snapped the ball.
There were also 2 players in motion, I think, as the ball was snapped.
Is this Canadian football? Are we in Canada?
Yeah. So illegal procedure. That's against Wallenpaupack. Another thing, Wallenpaupack
again
is
shooting themselves in the foot, Paul.
That's their 3rd penalty of this quarter. So 1st and 10 now becomes 1st and 15. And you feel like Wallenpaupack has to pass. They've been emphasizing the pass, at least on their previous possession here in the 3rd. So Guardsy now out of the pistol. Guardsy's going to look for the quick out pass, and it is complete to DeLessio up the right sideline. If he has the speed, he's gone. He only has 1 man to beat, but McCoy catches him. The speeds are for Wilkes-Barre area, and that's the big pass play that Wallenpaupack needed.
Again, pitch and catch. As we said earlier, simply catch the ball, get it out of your hands real quick.
47 yards.
Well, as we've been saying, this is one of the things that they had to do, be able to advance the ball down the field through the pass.
And it's a Luzerne County Community College first down. And now Wallenpaupack in prime position. 1st and 10 on the Wolfpack 30. Guardsy's going to keep it, has a block, runs around the right side. We have a penalty flag. Guardsy picks up 3, but let's see what this is. It's either
that could be a horse collar.
Horse collar or possibly a hold. We'll wait and see what the call is. Wallenpaupack's backing up, and it is a hold against the Buckhorns.
Paula, you said it just a few moments ago. The penalties kind of really putting the Buckhorns behind the 8 ball. They have a big play, and then they have a hold.
37 yards penalties in this game against the Wallenpaupack offense alone. 10 also on defense. So what looked like a great opportunity for Wallenpaupack now looks a little more dim. It's going to be about 1st and 21 or 22. Guardsy will drop back to pass. To the left side, pass, D'Alessio incomplete.
Nice play by Raphael McCoy. Went up and swatted the ball away. Paula, you can check your stats, but I think Ajayi has only touched the ball once in this quarter.
And it would only went for 1 yard. You're right about that. You know, Wallenpaupack had Guardsy under center for almost the entire game, but now they seem to have shifted him to the shotgun formation.
McCoy really made a nice play on that. The ball was placed in a good spot, but he just simply exerted himself. He went up in the air and swatted the ball out of bounds.
Raphael McCoy has made his presence known tonight. On offense, defense, and kick returns for Wilkes-Barre. What a weapon. Guardsy's pass knocked down, incomplete. He's now 2 for 9 for 56 yards.
It's 3rd down and 22 yards to go for Wallenpaupack at the 42.
Well, Coach, you're in the Hall of Fame. What kind of play did you draw up on 3rd and 22 in your day?
Well, it depends on what you're going to do. I mean, if you're going to punt the ball sooner or later, pick up half of this. And it gives you an opportunity to perhaps at least keep them deeper in their own territory.
A long field goal not out of the question, but not from here. They need to pick up 15, 20 yards before they can attempt that.
Paul, I'm a big believer in matchups in football. You know, getting a receiver on a weaker defensive back, that one-on-one. Take the other 21 people or 20 people out of the contest.
So it is going to be a punt. Wallenpaupack's drive ran out of gas as they advanced to the 30, but
and Rafi McCoy is the returner. Paupack's got to be careful here.
Levant to do the punting. And he angles it down the right side. It's a ground ball, still rolling. Nice punt for Wallenpaupack. Down to the 1 yard line, and the Buckhorns will down it, and Wilkes-Barre takes over from there.
Not much elevation on that punt, but they've got a tremendous roll. Really puts the Wilkes-Barre Wolfpack with their backs to their own end zone.
So under 3 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. Wilkes-Barre happy with their 11-point lead, but 99 yards of field in front of them.
Well, if it's there, one of the things I do here is a quarterback sneak, just to get a little bit of running room.
All right, Swinney will be the quarterback down there. And he'll hand it off. And
takes it outside of the 5 yard line.
Okay, we have Dylan walking around the stadium here. Let's see what Dylan Fearon is up to. Dylan, where you at?
Yeah, we're the Wallenpaupack student section. It's the Dr. Casey Smile Cam. What's going on, guys?
It's a 5 yard
Let's get loud. It's a game. It's a game. Nice and loud. There you go, Paul. Back to you guys. Yeah.
Okay, we have a whistle before the snap, but I don't know if there was a timeout or an equipment problem. I don't see any injury. Referee Tom Finan called for a stop. Everyone looking over to Ciro Cinti on the Wilkes-Barre sideline. And looks like we're going to be ready to go now. So Taylor back in at quarterback, and he'll take the snap from the shotgun. And again, we're not ready.
They get a timeout.
And it's going to be a timeout for Wilkes-Barre.
I think Wilkes-Barre had a tough time getting their signals into the game.
Coach Cinti's upset about that. He doesn't like that call. But he had to take the timeout, so Wilkes-Barre will take a break.
Is that their first timeout?
That's their first timeout of this half, yes. But look at Ciro Cinti. He's not even talking to his players. He's just upset down there. I don't know if someone called timeout by accident. I don't know if the play clock was winding down, but confusion down there leads to Wilkes-Barre being forced to use a timeout right now.
Coach Cinti, I don't think is calling the plays. It's one of his assistant coaches you can see in the powder blue shirt. He's the one I'm pretty sure is signaling the plays in.
Well, Wilkes-Barre area has an all-star cast when it comes to their coaches. Offensive coordinator is Ted Jackson Jr.
There you go.
Defensive coordinator is Ed Michaels. Ed Michaels, former head coach at Wyoming Valley West. And of course, everyone in northeastern Pennsylvania knows the name Ted Jackson when it comes to football. The father, a longtime coach at Dallas, and the son, Ted Jackson Jr., previously at Dallas, now at Wilkes-Barre. Okay, so 2nd and 5. Taylor passes it. Right side, it's complete to McCoy. Up the right sideline. Knocked out of bounds.
He's very, very quick. When he catches that ball, he accelerates. He's shifty. You'll see it here. Just a quick out. There's some moves. In, back out. That gets them out of the shadow of their own goal line.
Taylor 175 yards passing. McCoy 188 yards receiving. Taylor. This time it's Brown, and Brown has done a good job tonight.
On that play, the Buckhorn defense sold out. They brought the pressure from the right side, and the play went to the left.
13-yard gain for Brown. And that puts him at 117, and it's a Luzerne Community College first down. Wilkes-Barre splits out one receiver on the left side, I formation. Here's Taylor, handoff to Brown. Brown falls forward with the big push, and he manages to pick up 4 yards. Cruz on the stop.
Got to be impressed with the toughness of the running backs for the Wolfpack.
Well, Wilkes-Barre took the opening possession of the third. They had a punt after only gaining 12 yards. Then they scored a relatively easy touchdown, marching right down the field. And here Wilkes-Barre started on their own 1, now out to their own 46-yard line. Taylor to Brown. Brown off the right side again. Nowhere to go as Brandon King gobbles him up. 1-yard gain. Final minute of the third, and the Wolfpack on the march.
If they want it, they have a receiver to the left side of their formation that's playing against a defensive back who's 9 to 10 yards off him, and there's no underneath coverage by a linebacker or a drop end.
What about the night for Matt Horak? Horak's been covering McCoy all night in the secondary, one-on-one. And McCoy has put up some big numbers.
Took their second
so
time
Wilkes-Barre
out.
wants their second timeout here. Looking at 3rd and 5 out near midfield. And they see this as an important play call right here. Wilkes-Barre, if Wilkes-Barre can go down and get a touchdown, you might say the game is put away. Already up by 11. Touchdown put them up by 18. And with 12 minutes to go, might be too much for Wallenpaupack.
Well, they're going to have to throw the ball a little bit more, and of course they were successful throwing that quick pass to D'Alessio. He sauntered down the sidelines and put them in good position, but they weren't able to convert, in part due to penalties.
Well, scores around the area. The big showdown everyone was looking at tonight in West Pittston is Wyoming area, Southern Columbia. Score 42-0 Southern Columbia. So that's the old mercy rule in the controversial game here in week 8 that they had a schedule around.
Southern Columbia is head and shoulders above everybody else in this region. It's a pleasure to watch them play. I mean, they are so talented. Yeah. And listen, you give Wyoming area a lot of credit. You remember I told you that Southern was averaging almost 60 points a game, so they only gave up 42.
If you didn't follow it in the news, Wyoming area was supposed to play Holy Redeemer, but Southern Wyoming area agreed to flop opponents, so Holy Redeemer ended up playing Shikellamy. Both were winless teams. Here's Swinney on the keeper, needs 5 yards for the Luzerne Community College first down, picks up half, and that'll be 4th down, 5 yards, and Wilkes-Barre will need to punt. That's the end of the third quarter, and Wilkes-Barre leads Wallenpaupack 35-24.
That was a
and
strange
you're watching
call.
Allied Services Friday Night Rivals on MyTV WQMY.
You're watching Allied Services Friday Night Rivals on MyTV WQMY.
Start the fourth quarter with Wilkes-Barre in punt formation. Chad Regan to punt. Wallenpaupack sets up the rush here. D'Alessio back to return. Regan gets his foot on it. Low line drive, hits the ground, takes a few bounces, and down at the 21-yard line. Coach, we really saw Ajayi take over for Wallenpaupack in the first half, put up big numbers. Wallenpaupack's hardly gone to him here in the second half.
I think one carry.
One carry for 1 yard.
You know, they're down 11 points. There's plenty of time. He's been running very effectively. As we said at halftime, he's averaging almost 10 yards per touch.
Wilkes-Barre had the ball for 7 minutes and 19 seconds of that 12-minute third quarter. Guardsy back under center. He's been doing a lot of shotgun, and they do go straight back to Ajayi, and it works out fairly well for them. They'll pick up of about 2, I guess, so trying to get the ground game back into motion.
Nowhere to go. Number 65 didn't get his guy off the line of scrimmage that time. He's got to stay lower. Zyler Blau.
A lot of black shirts here on a black night. I like these Wilkes-Barre uniforms. I think the colors look sharp. They look good. You know, Wallenpaupack in their whites. Usually the home team wears a colored jersey, but Buckhorns choose to wear the white tonight. Split backs for Wallenpaupack. Guardsy drops back to pass, looks up to his left and going for the left sideline, but it is incomplete. Vargo was the intended target, but off the mark.
Big third down here, Paul.
It's 3rd down and 8 for Wallenpaupack at the 24.
All of Wallenpaupack's passes seem to go way out to the right sideline or the left sideline. They've passed.
Nothing in the middle.
I don't think they've passed in the middle the whole night.
There are passing lanes, especially against a 4-4 defense, that are open in the middle of the field.
3rd and 7. Guardsy will put it in the air. And then he is sacked, and he won't be putting it in the air. Body slam, quite frankly. And that's going to be a loss of 5, and that'll bring up 4th down. Samir Hill got there first, and big hard tackle right on top of Guardsy. So now 4th down and 12. Wallenpaupack will be punting. It's going to be Levant standing on his own 5-yard line. And you know the two dangerous weapons lined up to return. Williams and McCoy for Wilkes-Barre.
And you do want to keep the ball out of Rafi McCoy's hands.
McCoy is to the right. The snap is high over his head and out the back of the end zone, and that's going to be
safety.
A 2-pointer for Wilkes-Barre. They call that a safety. 2 points for the Wolfpack, and the Wolfpack will get the ball.
Something was amiss there. The punter was trying to communicate. Perhaps you'll see here, look, he had his hands out. I don't know whether there was enough players on the field.
The snap just flew over Levant's head, and it just kept rolling. He couldn't stop it. So it is a safety. Makes the score 37-24. So Wallenpaupack will be forced to kick it now from their own 20-yard line to Wilkes-Barre.
7.
Haven't seen a safety in high school football in a while, but there it is, and that's what it looks like. Plenty of mistakes, and really the snapping and the long snapping game have been tough for Wallenpaupack all night. Guardsy's had to handle a lot of snaps up above his head when he lines up in the shotgun tonight.
That's unfortunate. You wanted that snap to be clean, for the punter to be able to get it off on time, or for the quarterback to catch and throw or hand off. This is a big series here, Paul. Wallenpaupack's got to get the ball back soon. There's still 10-19 to go. There's some time available, but they've got to be productive next time they get the football.
So Roman Levant will kick it off from his own 20. Williams and McCoy stand on their own 35 to return. Levant's got a strong leg, and this one flies. There's Williams. He'll stay on the left side, cut it over to the sideline. Driven out of bounds by Nick Cleacus. But across midfield, and Wilkes-Barre area will set up on the Wallenpaupack 40.
Saturday means one thing, and that's college football. Starting at 11 is the Fox College pregame show. Then at noon, it's a Big 12 matchup as number 6 Oklahoma takes on number 11 Texas. Saturday college football on Fox 56.
So Cam Taylor will start here at quarterback for Wilkes-Barre. And it still looks like the Wolfpack having trouble getting the play in.
Yeah, they are. Their communication between Coach Jackson and their quarterback and their line is not effective.
Taylor out of the shotgun, handoff to Brown around the right side, and he's got a Luzerne Community College first down and then some. So that's a gain of almost 20. I'd say 18 yards.
Did a nice job of setting up that cut inside. There was one defender you'll see here. Right there, stays outside, he just cuts it up inside. Another good block by number 11. And again, finishing the run.
Corey Brown, 12 carries, 140 yards, 2 touchdowns tonight. And Wilkes-Barre has entered the Allied Services red zone. No, not quite. They're just short of it. I'm going to withhold that red zone until the next red zone moment. Penalty flag flies in. Taylor connects on the left side and out of bounds. Receiver that time, that was Casimir Van Buren, but let's see what his penalty is.
Left by number 11, Casimir Van Buren. There is a flag on the play.
Holding against the offense, so that'll take
that
that off
for the
board.
Buckhorns.
Yes.
The ball was inside the 5-yard line. Paul, you got to be impressed with the accuracy of the quarterbacks from Wilkes-Barre.
Yeah.
Throwing the ball pretty effectively.
Yeah. Well, and I'm going to add on top of that, Ciro Cinti offense, and we're talking about how well they're passing and how efficient it is. Ciro Cinti has just been known to have the style of offense for years and years, just keep it on the ground. Your quarterback was actually a running back who took the snap. They've passed very well tonight. They have nice weapons at receivers, and it's a different look for a Ciro Cinti team.
Well, that's credit to him that he's able to adjust.
There's the handoff to Brown, and straight ahead, and Brown will pick up 4 yards.
You know, when you're being considered as a coach and you get a question, well, what's your offense going to look like? And the answer that I gave when that question was posed to me is, I want to see my kids first. I want to see what they're able to do. If you have a quarterback that can't throw the ball, then you're going to focus on running it and do what you can with the pass game and vice versa. So it's, again, it's a smart coach that utilizes the skill set of his kids.
So Taylor will be under center. It is 2nd and 14. Taylor's going to drop back and pass. He looks up for McCoy in the end zone and out the back of the end zone. We've got a flag here for pass interference. I might say that pass was uncatchable.
I don't know if they count that in high school.
There's also a late hit on Taylor as he is slow to get up. In fact, he is not getting up, but no penalty on Taylor's hit. The penalty was for the end zone and the contact there.
Well, that's not good.
Now, this ball really flew. I'm going to say that was uncatchable.
In the sense that he was out of bounds?
The pass landed out of bounds.
Was the receiver out of bounds?
So we have an injury timeout. Pass interference, however, is against Wallenpaupack.
That's going to be a 15-yard penalty from the previous spot.
Coach, all right, coming up 2 more weeks in the regular season for Allied Services Friday Night Rivals. Next week, we will be in the Back Mountain, and I mentioned Ted Jackson. Well, when you think of Ted Jackson, you think of Dallas. It'll be Berwick at Dallas, a great one in the Wyoming Valley Conference there. And then in Week 10, Lakeland at Dunmore, old-fashioned rivalry, and that'll take place in the borough of Dunmore. From then on, it's the playoffs, so check your schedule, but we do intend to bring you some playoff games on Friday nights right here on MyTV WQMY.
Earlier we found out that Dallas was defeating Valley View quite handily. Yeah. So that gives Valley View a loss. It gives Berwick a loss. So this going into this game, Berwick against Dallas, if Dallas gets beat, now it throws the whole thing in that division for playoffs in terms of ranking. If they win the game, they're the #1 seed.
Yeah, that's going to be a critical game next week when Berwick takes on Dallas. Cam Taylor.
And that game is at Dallas, I believe.
Yes. Right? Cam Taylor gets up. He seems to be okay walking off the field now.
15 yards from the previous stop.
So that was a 15-yard penalty against Wallenpaupack.
The result will be 2nd down and 1 yard to go.
And that will move the ball into the Allied Services red zone for Wilkes-Barre area, but they're going to have 2nd down and 1. They're just short of a Luzerne Community College 1st down. Taylor Swinney will be the quarterback for Wilkes-Barre. And with 8:30 on the clock, you just get the feeling if the Wolfpack get a touchdown here, it'll be too far out of reach for the Buckhorns. Swinney on the handoff to Brown. Brown around the left side, has room, has space, sees the goal line, and into the end zone. Corey Brown has his 3rd touchdown of the game. Well, we have a penalty. Hold everything. This could be coming back.
The run was good for 13 yards and a touchdown.
Conversation among the officials. They'll sort it out, but Wilkes-Barre's not celebrating just yet. Oh, the touchdown is good. So the penalty was against Wilkes-Barre. So it had to be after the touchdown.
Well, it was nowhere near the touchdown, so it must have been back in the pile.
Yeah. So it had to be a dead ball after the touchdown was scored. So the touchdown will stand. And Brown goes in from 13 yards out.
This puts Wilkes-Barre into a 3-score advantage.
For the personal foul against Wilkes-Barre area will be assessed on the kickoff.
Okay, so the officials will march that penalty off on the kickoff. And in the meantime, we will get the attempt for the extra point. That's a 4-minute drive, 40 yards for Wilkes-Barre. And Taylor connects in the back of the end zone.
Silas Armstrong.
Silas Armstrong gets the 2-pointer.
Is complete to Silas Armstrong. The 2-point conversion is good.
Okay, so with 8:20 to go in the fourth, it is 45-24. As Wilkes-Barre's Corey Brown has 3 scores.
Defense of the Buckhorns. Corey Brown has had a very fine game for the Wolfpack.
What happened to that Buckhorn offense we saw in the first half when they put up 24 points? They have not scored here
One
in
of
the
the
second
things,
half.
Paul, that I think an observation can be made is they've had no rhythm. In part, penalties. They find themselves in 1st and 15, 2nd and 20, that type of thing. And as we've pointed out twice already, Shadrach Ajayi has touched the ball twice.
Yes, they have hurt themselves.
But part of that is because they haven't had the ball that much.
Right.
You said, what was it, 7 minutes or so?
In the third quarter was
right.
7:19. And right now it's 11:19 of possession for Wilkes-Barre with 8:20 to go in the second half. So yeah, the majority of the time, heavy majority, Wilkes-Barre has had the ball here in the second half.
Well, we're going to, almost by force, Wallenpaupack's going to have to throw the ball a lot more times.
Kick off for the Wolfpack.
So Regan to kick it off. Horak and Vargo to return. Kicking it off from the 25-yard line because of the previous penalty. This is Horak trying to cut it back to the middle, nothing there. Stuck in place, spinning around on the 35, falls over to the 36, that's where he'll start. So 2 games left for the Wallenpaupack Buckhorns, and they will be at Hazleton. Boy, that's a long bus ride for these Buckhorns. Week 9, Week 10, Abington Heights comes up here. So both of those are winnable for the Buckhorns if you just base it on their schedule and what they've done and their record up until this point. Wallenpaupack, the defending district champion, and a good chance to make the playoff field. They're comfortably ahead of Wyoming Valley West in 5th place. The top 4 teams will make the playoffs. So right now, they're in 4th place. So a new ball carry, it's Amir Jones for Wallenpaupack off to the left side. Shoots forward for 14 yards, but we had a penalty flag, and we'll see what that's about.
Tackled by Williams. There's a flag on the play.
First time he's touched the ball all night. And we have a hold, and that nice run will be brought back.
We just got finished saying that they have shot themselves in the foot, putting themselves in untenable positions. 1st and 15, 1st and 20.
So 1st and 18 now. And the handoff goes back to Jones. Jones picks up 5 yards.
He's tackled by number 44, Noah Taylor.
Taylor brings him down. So I wonder about Ajayi. He had 2 carries. One of them was wiped off on a penalty. So really only 1 carry here in the 4th, 1 in the 3rd. And so now we're seeing Jones.
I don't know, maybe he's banged up a little bit. You got to use your binoculars and see if he's on the sidelines anywhere. Right there he is on the 48-yard line. Helmet off and standing with some of his teammates.
Does not look injured. He had a great first half. He's hardly touched the ball here in the second half. And now Jones with the ball, and Jones picks up 2 more yards.
Tackled by number 56, Greg DeLeon.
Amir Jones, 5'8", 155-pound junior for these Buckhorns.
Also number 58, Kobe Benton.
And even in addition to Jones, we're not seeing Guardsy run the ball much. Guardsy did a lot of running in the first half. Here in the second half, he really hasn't had too many attempts. 3 attempts total in the second half. So Guardsy will take the snap, this time looking to pass and over the middle, and it is complete. Fargo down the right hash mark, over to the right side, finally caught from behind by Williams, down at the 20, and he injures his right leg.
3-step drop, slant, very accurate throw.
2-yard gain. First and 10 for the Buckhorns at the Wolfpack.
42 yards on that play. That takes them to the Allied Services red zone, but we have an injury on the field now. Boy, just when Wallenpaupack gets a nice play and some real nice ball movement here in the second half, and an injury slows them down. Fargo limping.
It's like he's cramping up.
He hurt that right leg. Oh, what the treatment they're giving him indicates that it is a cramp, and you hope that's what it is. You try to put some weight on that right leg, and it didn't quite work out too well for him. Nice pass by Guardsy, hit him really quick on this inside slant.
NFL on Fox 56 this Sunday. Carson Wentz and the Eagles travel to Minnesota to take on the Vikings at 1. Both teams are 3-2. This game promises to be a good matchup. Fox NFL Sunday begins at noon, and the first kickoff is at 1, only on Fox 56.
So Fargo walks off the field. Seems like he's doing okay. Has to sit out at least one play.
It's a relatively cool night, but still, a long run like that, you have a tendency to get not hydrated, to cramp up. Paul, I was almost ready to say after the first 2 running plays that put them in a 3rd and 5 situation, that Paupack looked like they were ready to concede.
Well, they pull the Jai out of the game. They have Jones running. That would be one indication that Coach Watson is putting his backups in, but not the case. The rest of it is the starters. Here's Jones with the carry. Can't get accelerated on the right side. Penalty flag flies, though. I think they're going to get with a face mask here. Yes.
There is a flag on the play.
Lots of penalties in the second half. The first half was really quiet, but plenty of violations here in the second half. Jones had defenders on him the second he got the ball. See the flag come in. It is a face mask against Wilkes-Barre area, so add that on to the end of the play. Deeper into the Allied Services red zone. And Wallenpaupack will have a Luzerne Community College first down on the Wilkes-Barre 13-yard line.
If they can get this in, Paul, I think we might see a second onside kick.
Yeah, we saw one early in the game after Wallenpaupack went up 3-0 on their first possession. They came back with a successful onside kick, then marched down to make it 10-0. Wallenpaupack at one time led 10-0. Now they trail 45-24. Guardsy to Jones, straight up the middle and nowhere to go.
It's a host of Wolfpack defenders.
Silas Armstrong made the stop.
Second down and 10 yards to go for the Buckhorns.
Clock ticks, 5 minutes left in this game.
Well, there's no urgency on the part of Wallenpaupack here. The quarterback has to run over to get the play.
Yeah.
They're wasting a lot of time doing that.
I formation, 2 receivers on the left. Guardsy takes his time looking at that defense. Garzi rolls out to his left. He has a receiver open, tries to find him, but the pass goes incomplete, out of bounds.
The Wilkes-Barre defender did a nice job that time. He didn't commit too early. He kind of shadowed the quarterback, make sure he didn't get outside, and forced him to throw a little bit off balance.
So now 3rd down, and it is definitely 4-down territory, but 3rd and 10 from the 13-yard line. Quick snap, Garzi to Jones, right side, looking for a hole, finds a little bit of room, gets inside the 10, down to the 8. So a 5-yard gain right there. That'll bring up 4th and 5.
Looks like they're going to try to kick a field goal.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. Roman Levant comes out with his tee.
I wonder if they have a fake in their repertoire.
He's going to spot the ball on the 15-yard line and try to get his team 3 more points. Levant's already made a 38-yarder today. The left foot, and it's blocked, and the ball is a live ball on the ground. McCoy picks it up. Now McCoy's going to try to take off, but Wallenpaupack had closed in by then. And the field goal attempt is no good, so Wilkes-Barre will take over possession. Mistakes, and just Wallenpaupack can't get things going in the second half. Wilkes-Barre
McCoy
really
does a little bit of
difference.
everything for the Wilkes-Barre team.
Yeah, he is offense, defense, and special teams. What a weapon that guy is.
Wolfpack will start 1st and 10.
Well, Wilkes-Barre could put in the reserve players if they want. 3:40 to go, 21-point lead. But it looks like Wilkes-Barre is sticking with the starters. Taylor, who was injured on the previous possession, is back at quarterback. And now we're going to get a whistle and a timeout. Wallenpaupack wants a timeout. All right. So the game continues here. Buckhorns, I guess, weren't set on defense. Wilkes-Barre's got good field position starting on their own 39-yard line.
Parents, save money on your car insurance. Quad A Driving Academy is a certified PennDOT third-party tester. We have helped over 10,000 new drivers become safe and confident licensed drivers. Save money by checking us out at quadadrive.com. Well, Paul, 3:31 to go. We see some substitutes there. This game is in the bank for the Wilkes-Barre Wolfpack.
Brown takes a handoff. He'll add to his statistics. Drive straight ahead. Pickup of 4. That puts him at 161 yards.
Player of the game.
We do. We have to choose our Allied Services players of the game. You want to look at Wilkes-Barre area. We can start maybe talking about Taylor, 177 yards passing, 2 passing touchdowns. He has been 9 for 9 passing. That's pretty impressive.
It's a nice quarterback rating.
15 carries for Brown, 161 yards, 3 touchdowns. McCoy has 7 catches for 188 yards. He's been good on offense, defense, and special teams. And now we're starting to see some of the reserves for Wilkes-Barre area. Here's Jaleel Timmons.
Number 26, Jaleel Timmons, the ball carrier.
Timmons takes it over to the right side and picks up a gain of 7 out to the 50.
He's tackled by number 19, Brett Levant. It's an 8-yard gain. 1st and 10.
And it sounds a little different coming off the tongue. Wilkes-Barre area school district. We've talked Coughlin and Myers and GAR. Now they're all under one name, Wilkes-Barre, and that's the future. And it took some shuffling and some changing in the schedule, but seems to have worked out well. They had many plans on the drawing board, but this is the one that finally stuck, and it's doing well for them.
Well, things look bright for them. They're building a new school. They'll blend these kids in from year to year, and hopefully within the next 2 years or so, they'll have a new facility.
It's tricky now. They are split up among 3 different school buildings, but all these kids know each other. Wilkes-Barre's not that big of a city. They grew up and they know each other. They play against and with each other, and the schools aren't that far apart. So they came together fine. Obviously, some guys who were starters with their previous team aren't going to be starters when you merge 3 different schools, but you have to do your best and excel and find a job. Credit to Coach Ciro Cinti. There were other coaches who could have gotten the job, but of the 3 coaches at Myers, GAR, and Coughlin, they picked Coughlin, Ciro Cinti, coming off of a bad season last year. They looked at it, but Ciro's been there for such a long time. Quality man, quality coach. And so they stuck with him. Samir Hill now for Wilkes-Barre area. And he really gets a big gain there. 20
He's a pretty big back. I thought it was a guard running with the football there for a moment.
25 yards on that one. And we're in the final minute here of this football game. So Wilkes-Barre letting the reserves get some playing time and see what they look like and what kind of football player they are for down the road on a day they might need them. Wilkes-Barre's going to go to 5-3. Wallenpaupack will fall to 3-5, and this will be the last snap as Cam Taylor kneels on the football. So Wilkes-Barre gets out of last period a little bit early. They put on their neckties, load up the comfort bus, drive all the way up to Wallenpaupack, and they're glad they did. They enjoyed the trip, and they pick up the win. As the final seconds tick out, the teams will shake hands. We'll get to Dylan Fearon and our Allied Services Player of the Game and trophy presentation in a moment. But Coach, Wallenpaupack just didn't come out in the second half.
No, they didn't. And again, their run game, which was so successful in the first half, disappeared almost completely. And again, I think, Paul, you said it, the penalties really hurt them. They were unable to establish any rhythm and found themselves in untenable positions after first down, a holding penalty or a offsides penalty or whatever the case might be.
And Wilkes-Barre might have stumbled a little bit and not felt comfortable about the way they played in the first half. Wilkes-Barre came out and executed extremely well in the second half. They turned up the intensity.
Have some big players. They're obviously the quarterbacks are effective. Taylor really threw the ball well, and Corey Brown and Rafi McCoy, they've got some explosive kids. The future looks bright for this team, this new program.
Wilkes-Barre has alternated wins and losses since week 2. And so last week they came off of a win. You would think they were due for a loss on that trend, but they come out with now 2 wins in a row here and some momentum heading into the last 2 weeks of the season. So they have to be happy. They'll enjoy their bus ride back. And we'll throw it down to Dylan Fearon with our Allied Services Players of the Game.
All right, thanks, Paul. I'm with Corey and Raphael, our players of the game tonight. Huge night for you guys. Corey, we'll start with you. Gaping holes all night long. The offense was clicking. How did your offensive line take advantage of those holes, and then you really taking advantage of by getting in the end zone?
They've been doing great. If it wasn't for our line, I wouldn't have what I did today.
There is a big difference between getting on the bus and going back to Wilkes-Barre at 5-3 and 4-4. What does it say about your team camaraderie? Down 10-0, not getting too crazy and coming back.
We're just ready for the next game.
What's the resilience like of this team coming back down 10-0? What was the mindset like?
Everything was just great during the week. We had a little slow things, but we came out slow in first quarter, then we came out powerful second half.
Great, Corey. Thanks so much. Raphael, over to you. Another big night for you, and you put the exclamation point on it with that blocked field goal. Take me through that play.
Well, in halftime, Coach Nino amped us up, and he said he don't want one more point on the board from them. We want to lead them at 24. That was the mindset going into the second half. And when they were about to score that 3 points, I was like, we can't let that happen. You know, we said we were going to leave them at 24, and we had to make it happen. So, you know, I tried my best to try to get in there and put my hand on the ball, and that's what I did. I wish I would have got the scoop and score, though. I didn't know.
The game starts we blink, it's 10-0. You're on the road. The crowd's allowed to start out with. What's the resilience of this team say when you're able to go home on the bus with a 21-point win?
Oh, it feels great. You know, like I said, in the locker room, when we got into the second half, we knew the game shouldn't be that close at all. So we were like, we came out thinking that we were just going to have a great second half, and that's what we did, you know. We expected to do this, and, you know, we came out with a rough start, but this team, you know, we don't stop fighting at all. We're a second half team, and that's what I love about them, you know. And we came out and we finished like we said we would.
All right, our players of the game, Corey Brown, Raphael McCoy. Let's give you the trophy for the game. There you go, boys. Enjoy it from the home to Wilkes-Barre. There you go. Let's go. Get in.
Oh, yeah! Oh, yeah!
Trophy case at Wilkes-Barre area. My first look at the Wolfpack, and it's an impressive look. I am impressed, and I think that's a bright future in a program that's on the right track. So we saw two different halves tonight, but I think we come out of this saying, you know, Wilkes-Barre, they do have some nice players and a good team.
They do. They have some kids that are very explosive, hard-running running backs, receivers that can catch the ball and do something with it after they do catch it, and quarterbacks that threw the ball exceptionally well. You tip your hat off again to the coaching staff of Wilkes-Barre area. They've done a great job up to this particular point. And, you know, one of the things that has to be noted, the experience of their coaching staff. They've got guys that were head coaches at some other schools and have been coordinators at other schools, and that's a credit to the people that hire these guys.
Okay, so that'll be a wrap here from Lakeside at Wallenpaupack High School. Once again, Wilkes-Barre has defeated Wallenpaupack 45-24. The Wolfpack 4-3. The Buckhorns fall to 3-4. For masterful 3-5. For masterful director Bill Murphy and outstanding producer Steve Phillips, want to thank you for watching tonight. Thanks to Dylan Farron and for Coach Stan Koharski. I'm Paul Grippy. You've been watching Allied Services Friday Night Rivals on MyTV WQMY.
You're watching Allied Services Friday Night Rivals on MyTV WQMY.